and the last ball of lint that my cat coughed up. Ladies and gentlemen, you won't find a better deal for something to make you feel like you're wasting your cash on crap anywhere else. And these items are nice enough to display proudly around your home. What's up, everybody? This is Karak with ACG. Hope everybody can hear me. Looks like the audio is working right. And I'm here with Reg, Johnny, Silver, Abzy, who are the... So we've got the entire normal group together.
Why'd you say my name like that? What?
Just
Abzy.
Well, it is a surprise that you're here. Abzy, because he could be playing Elden Ring. And
True.
we also have Gingerprime, otherwise known as Brian. He's been on here one other time prior to this, right?
Oh, yeah. That's my second round.
Second round. And we've got an Ironlords staple, somebody I've got to meet through the Ironlords podcast, King David. Thank you very much for showing up, man.
What's going on, guys?
Dude, I just got to say, like old Brian was saying prior, Ironlords podcast, if you guys haven't checked it out, you got to. It is, it's like us, but with more soul. A little bit. That's what I was telling Cognito. Your guys' podcast is just hilarious, man. You guys, and I got to have Sav on, Cog, Addict. I think I've had all you guys on now.
Here we go.
I've collected you guys like collectible cards. And NFTs. I need to make an NFT and sell you guys. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that later. I'm gonna get an NFT. Ironlords. I've collected
as long as I get a piece.
You will. Yeah, we'll roll it. You know how NFTs work. Even the seller, you can sell it multiple times. The creator always gets a little snippet. But thanks.
I feel like we're going to be in court later with a NFT scam. And this is where the plot began.
Yeah, this is where it all began. I do want to say thanks to the 4 regulars who always show up. It's very much appreciated. Silver got to show up this time. I think your leg was bothering you last time, right, Silver?
Leg and just physical exhaustion generally.
Physical exhaustion.
Had a long work day.
Yeah. Silver, if not a lot of people know, Silver is training for Gladius War Games here coming soon. So a lot of his, always doing something physical. Weren't you also the guy who fell out of a kayak?
I had a kayak accident.
You had a kayak accident, and I remember his
at my shoulder.
Always trying to do something crazy. But before we begin our stuff, I'm going to let these guys sort of talk about their shows for a couple minutes, or a couple seconds, whatever they want. Brian, we'll go with you first. What do you cover? Huh? What do you do? Where are you on Twitter and the internet?
Well, it's always interesting, especially as the Gingerprime and Brian goes. Like pretty much when you search Del Monte B. That is essentially where you find me on Twitter. And I think that's even the original channel name for Gingerprime. But primarily you could find me covering MMORPGs, especially like Final Fantasy 11 and 14. I've been really big into New World, which really stresses people out, but I'm absolutely head over heels in love with that game. So maybe don't follow me if you don't like that aspect. And Destiny is another big staple. I tend to kind of like jump into games and just live in there for like a decade, so I end up spending a lot of time in these games. But one of the things I think that separates, like, I guess my content structure is I got 5 kids. I've been doing stand-up comedy as well. And I bring a weird, interesting perspective to, I guess, how I view it, because I'll never be first. Like, I can't compete against these streamers who play 16 hours a day, but I'll get there. I'll get it done. I'm just kind of like,
most streamers because you've had sex at least 5 times. So
I have 5. There's 5 sex trophies that I currently rep.
Sex trophy. Oh man, I got my platinum, baby.
I got evidence. Only 5.
You better have cleared Pandemonium first in the world, all right? Or else you're not a real man. Yeah.
Well, and that's what people will discount. They're like, oh, you're not doing this like right now. It's like I'll do it later. Like I just I just have to. I accept my limitations and I enjoy my family. So that's what I do. That's where you guys can find me. And thanks for having me here.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, King? What do you got going on?
Okay, well, Ironlords podcast, Sundays at 1 p.m. And it's so funny, like, if I go on a show and they're like, oh my God, I watch Ironlords podcast. I'm like, why isn't my subscriber count larger? Like, what's
why
going
you guys
on?
not showing me up? You say you are.
I know, right? The correlation is just not happening. But lifelong friends having a podcast, we joke around, we have fun. I'm the tongue-in-cheek guy. I'm always, joking on either PlayStation or Nintendo and trying to prop up Microsoft because, sometimes they need a little help.
They need a little help.
Just a little bit. lordsofgaming.net. I'm actually the marketing manager of Ironlords podcast. So anytime you see anything or you look at something that's like really cool, it's me. No,
All the other stuff's everybody else. The cool stuff.
Yeah, that's them. But this is me. No, it's collaboration. We do so much fun. Do so much things and have so much fun. I go to shows like we have PAX. We're going on to PAX East, and that's coming up next month. And we're already locked in. We already have the Airbnb. We already have the media stuff, and I'm already setting out the floor plans on how we're going to attack the floor. I leave all the big fish for Cog, and Sovereign and I take care of everything on the floor. So if you have something interesting that you want us to see, just have some energy, because the worst thing to do is to go to a developer, and if they have like their media person there, you can tell the difference between a media person and actually somebody that worked on a game. The media rep guys like, this game is this game, and I don't need that energy. I want the energy that I'm giving you, because I want that back, because I want to be enthusiastic, and I want the people to see that enthusiasm. So please just have all that fire and passion, because we're going to bring it. And like I said, lordsofgaming.net, they will report on each and every last game, because every day I'm uploading right as soon as we leave the floor, every game we saw. So if it's 20 games we saw, we interviewed, 20 games is going up, 20 games is going to be reported on. So that's where you can find. Oh, Twitter, King David OTW. I'm a little bit of a mess.
It's interesting too, because like I was always watching the podcast, and then started right before you guys gave some awards to your writers. Remember, because I think I was on the podcast right after you guys did, because they were on.
Right.
And I gotta say, man, like the website's actually pretty cool too, because it's like it's different people sometimes that we see on the podcast. It's all of this. It's something that I've tried. I've got a website, but I forget to do anything for it. You guys actually have people who are doing that. Very good writing on it and stuff like that. You guys are definitely one of the teams that a lot of people say they're gonna like. It's what I'm always telling people. If you're asking me what you should do, you're already a step behind. You should be doing something and saying, does it look good? Like, because getting started is hard. You guys didn't only get started, you just kept rolling, which is awesome. It's like, in your community, I was watching Addict got screwed over on a couple times, had to do horrible streams of games I'm sure he didn't want to play, but that fan interaction. So, people here know about you guys, because I do talk about all of you guys so much, but there's very few like podcasts where I'll want to bring people, every single person on, and everybody talk, and you guys are definitely one of the ones. It's highly impressive what you guys have done, and just super awesome people, because you were talking about excitement, and that's what I am, is excited. So then I went to my YouTube comments, and nothing in the world can depress you more. I go into the Valhalla or the Ragnarok review, and I'm sitting here going, I did not love Valhalla. It was pretty bloated. And some of it was good and some of it wasn't. And then I get Ragnarok, and I'm like, holy crap, this is fun. It's different. It's gods. It's different powers. It's blah, blah, blah. And I posted online, and within less than a second, as Johnny stated, what happens is somebody pretends to watch your video, but they didn't. They're like, well, it's not Elden Ring. And I'm like, yeah, right. Look at the title. It's fucking not Elden Ring. What are you talking about? Why are you even here? And it just turned into this back and forth, man. And it's like, you guys can't get excited. If you're happy about having Elden Ring, why can't you be happy somebody else has Ragnarok? Like, it doesn't make any, but for whatever reason, we see it in the console wars.
I've seen it. I've seen it. People said that I'm not a gamer because I'm too scared to play Elden Ring. I'm like, I've never played a Souls game. So that's why I was asking you guys the pre-show. I even put out a little poll. I'm like, should I play Elden Ring? I'm not afraid of it.
Am I not a gamer because I don't
had to stream it.
Sports games? Oh, did you have to stream it?
I had to stream it. Okay, so I put up some impossible challenge. I thought nobody was going to do it. I said, if y'all buy 10 items from the merch store, if I roll to PAX, I'll stream it. I thought they forgot. So we're like halfway through our 5-hour show.
And a short show. One of the shorter ones.
A little short one. And I'm going to get away with this. They're good. This is like the only 4 things been purchased. Fantastic, right? No. Right at the last second, right before we're about to sign off, some guy comes in and purchases 4 items from the store, and he put his name there, because usually ACG would do some crappy stuff like that. But it wasn't.
That dick.
Would be a shame if someone.
I had to, and it's my first time, and I was really low level, and I'm on Twitch, and I, streamed it out, and I had a really good time. And so many people are so helpful. Like, King, do this, because I'm yelling out while I'm playing. How the hell do I call up this? How the hell do I call up this? And I look at my comments, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I got to hang on it. And it's so addictive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wanted to stream more. So, I'm going to stream more later on this week. But once I beat this dragon, I beat the dragon at level 15. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The sleeping guy. I made it there, but making it there at level 15 is like, it's a feat within itself, because everything can one hit kill you.
Yeah.
And you're just like trugging through. So it's a perfect game for you. And I would love to watch you stream it. I will definitely tune in and watch you do it.
It's
cheer you on and everything.
It's cool. I hope, Ginger, I think you should try it. I think you would like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch between your name like 10 times.
King, when you're
you can call me whatever,
streaming,
man. You can call me Brandon. That's all. All right.
What were you saying, Absy?
I'm asking, like, when you're streaming it, do you feel like the need to entertain your audience by going to bosses right away, or can you like take your time and explore and all that shit?
Oh no, hell no. I'm a punk. So I don't care who listen. I'm a professed virgin to the game. All right. So I will see a boss and I'm talking to them, and I will say, yeah, that's not gonna happen. And I finally got the balls to fight that golden dude with the shield.
Yeah.
Right on the horse.
On the horse. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And literally, as soon as you know what? First of all, let's talk about how you can just skip the tutorial.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You can literally skip the tutorial. And I went back inside the place, and I'm like, what the hell is this right here? And it's literally the tutorial that I skipped in the beginning. And I'm like, this is nuts. So that was a fun thing that they got a chance to see me actually do the tutorial over again. But when you come outside, this is this golden guy sitting there. Now you may think in your head, that's a cool dude. Let me go over there and say something to him. Don't do that. Because he's definitely
not how it
OP.
works.
I think I love how
real quick. I got to Butterball, who is on both of our podcasts all the time, said, "I just bought a TCL TV and named it after King."
Set it on fire.
Oh, if people don't know,
Set it on fire.
I even said something nice about TCL, and King was on me. Like, there's some dislike there. I do want to get some other people's opinions of this, because I haven't asked Reg. Well, I have. We've talked about it. He's played a little bit of it, but he's so stuck into Lost Ark that it's like we've lost it's like losing a friend.
Well,
I had to beg him to come and stream.
Have you found the Ark?
Well, some parts of it.
Do you honestly feel you're gonna go to Elden Ring, Reg, or do you think it'll be one of those games that's just like, pass by?
Probably not just Elden Ring, but a lot of games passed by, like all the other February games.
Yeah. I mean, Lost Ark has taken. How many hours do you have in it? Do you want to say
250?
Nice.
Wow.
Now, people may go 250. I don't know if you're going to say that's not a lot, but it is a lot when you consider that it just came out. I mean, really, when you look at the timing,
the span of about a month.
He did more in that than he did at work. And it's so fun to watch.
Cards.
It's so fun to watch. If you guys haven't checked that out, check out Lost Ark, because it's an absolute blast.
And also
super fun
I think my second most played game is Skyrim, and that's like half those hours now.
Yeah. No, it's nuts. What about you, Johnny? You're still working through Elden Ring, but you also said Horizon, right? Horizon Forbidden West?
Yeah, but mostly Elden Ring. I think, towards the end. Without spoiling anything, let's just say I've had to make a powerful sacrifice.
Okay.
It was a tough decision that I had to, like, plot-wise, that was interesting.
And what would you say if you rated Elden Ring against all the let's say all the Dark Souls styled games? Where would you put Elden Ring so far?
So far, it's my favorite out of all of them, because it meshes the medieval architecture and vibe with, like, almost, what would you say, Egyptian or like this ancient civilization thing they got going on at times. That to me is unique, and that's cool. And then there's Abzi touched on this last week, like the epic fantasy of it, right? You run into fucking dragons, and like you're fighting you're finding these creatures and stuff. So the exploration is incredible. And then the souls on top is the cherry. So it's like, you know, a good Souls game on top of an awesome open world game.
I think
feels like a giant Dungeon and Dragons world. Just that's I stole that from you.
No, it's right.
and you
It's right.
kind of
I mean,
you kind of make your own story through the gameplay.
You do. No, that's
well.
exactly right. Well, King brought up a good point, and then I want to see what Silver, because Silver's been playing too. But the crux to me was when I did my walking the walk was I was like looking at what I wanted to cover, and I walked out and I saw the golden guy on the horse. But what Elden Ring does is it fools you. It's like, here's this guy, and if you've played a From game, that's not somebody you want to run to. Like, unless you want to challenge yourself. But then you look to the right and you see some guys flying. You're like, okay, so there's some bad guys there. You look to the left and there's nobody. But what those dudes did was if you go around the corner, there's a bunch of people. And so it's almost like 3 choices. They all suck, but there's a distance, short, medium, and long range. And you choose like how to go about taking those on. And when you guys talk about the dragon, for instance, I was telling Abzy, I was doing my walking the walk and I saw this fire with people chanting at it. And I'm like, that looks awesome. And then the dragon, and that was one of those moments in games, other than Dragon's Dogma, which has the exact same thing happen, but with a griffin, I think. It was that epic D&D moment where you're like, I'm making the story. Yeah, their plot could be fixed. I do think that that kind of stuff could be fixed. But yeah, it's so fun to see everybody's unique thoughts on it. I think Silver's got a pretty unique thought because I know he also wasn't a fan of what you considered to be repetitious enemies. They felt like Dark Souls 2 and 3 to you. Is that what you said, Silver?
Yeah, that and the game itself repeats a lot of the same bosses. Like you'll be fighting the same bosses like over and over again. Like I've killed like putrid tree spirits
The
like
tree.
8 or 9 times by now. So that starts to get tiresome. But I mean, to start with the praise, what really has me in awe is the fact that this, like, you have this massive open world game with all these numbers in terms of like stats and different abilities, and I haven't run into a single noticeable bug. Like I haven't run into any broken abilities that don't work the way they're supposed to, with numbers
I know what you mean.
not meshing well or the like, because that usually happens with these massive games that has so many variables and so many numbers working together. I haven't run into that at all, and I'm very, very impressed by that. I really, really enjoy the world, traversing it, even though it's challenging. Feels really, really nice. Combat really fun. Like the game gives you a lot of options. It's very similar to Neo in that regard, in that it gives you so many tools to handle each different encounter. You can switch it up if you want. You get respec options to try out different builds if that's what you want to go for. If what you're doing doesn't work for you and you want to go in a different direction, you can do that. There's a lot to love here. I think, like Johnny, I think it's the best From Software game so far. It's, playing it really struck me with the same feeling I had playing Warhammer 3 and Hitman 3. In that it feels like a culmination of the work that the developer has sort of been doing up until that point, and all the lessons that they've learned. Like that was the case with IO and Hitman 3. It's been the case somewhat with Creative Assembly and Warhammer 3, I think, and it's the case with Elden Ring and From Software. That being said, there are still a lot of the same bugbears from Dark Souls that rear their head here, and some of them are sort of exacerbated by the nature of an open world game. This is not a game you can return to. Like you can't leave this game and then come back to it in 3 months. You'll be lost because there's no log in this game. So you have no sense of, did I talk to this person?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have to like keep a literal physical log for the game if you plan on like leaving it and then coming back to it later. I do feel like there could be some kind of dialogue, the conversation log or something to reference, including if you miss dialogue because you accidentally skip it or something. And dialogue can be really, really important to tell you where to go. that could be really useful for the game. I really enjoy the fact that, I mean, people know I don't like quest markers. I don't like modern huts, gaming huts. I really appreciate the fact that this game asks you to intuit it, but it does go a little too far in that regard. Like I don't necessarily mind having a side quest where a character just goes, "Oh, I'm off," and doesn't tell you where they go, and then you and then you just meet them randomly in the world. Right after that, I don't mind that because that feels like, oh, fancy meeting you here, right? But what I do mind is when a character hands you something and says, "Oh, go deliver it to that person,"
give it to its owner,
and you have no idea who that person is or where they are or where you're supposed to deliver it to. Like that's not good quest design, I don't think.
Yeah, I found that out when I got half a coin, and I didn't know what to do with this half a coin. And for I just gave up on the half a coin, and I decided to go to one of those places. And when I went there, I thought, because Attic explained to me that people invading inside your world is a bad thing, and I thought it was a regular, person that was invading my world. Did not know it was an NPC.
Yeah,
that is a cutscene basically, and is a boss. So I did not know that, and that little half a thing made this thing come out, and I had to fight this thing. So I died a couple of times until I actually found a way to kill it, and then the game proceeded to go in the direction it was supposed to go. But like you said, there's absolutely no direction in what this item that you just received goes to and who you're supposed to bring it to. So yeah, on that point, 100% correct. I just
how satisfying is that though? Like when you get those connections, because it's one of the things that I've often feared about being too late to the game, where it ends up being all digitized on the wiki in that regards, where you're like, oh, let me just, that I think kind of ruins it. But just whenever you have those moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And then I figured it out. And then I had the challenge. And then boom, all of a sudden you're like,
I want to read this super chat real quick. Just real quick. Wizard of Smoke, $5 super chat. And also thank you everybody. We donated $3,000 to the Ukraine relief fund last time. $1,500 was raised by you guys. I matched it. We'll do another one in the next podcast or something like that. But super chats help out the channel, and I appreciate doing it. He says, happy Friday. Can I get a happy birthday for my kid who left her teen years, celebrating her 20th year of life today? Wow. Yes, indeed. Happy birthday,
kid.
Happy birthday to her, and good job, Wizard of Smoke, by not saying her name. Just saying.
Hell yeah.
Because you never know with the internet how weird people be. Gaming Addict, $5 super chat. Elden Ring is amazing. Year has been great so far, he says. Yes, indeed. Yeah. It has. It's been awesome. Real quick, let's let Abzy give his, because we have so many people. I just want to work Abzy in here on his thoughts on Elden Ring, and then we'll jump back in.
My thoughts? Oh, you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
your specific time to talk about Elden Ring. If you have nothing to add, feel free to just pass, and we can move on.
I mean, yeah, I love the game. I already started another character. I haven't even beat the game with my first character, but I wanted to fuck around with another character and stuff. I noticed something that's really cool. As soon as you exit like the first area and you go into Limgrave, and you get that big that word that says Limgrave.
Yeah.
You see like in front of your screen without even moving anything, you see so much information. You see like the big ass Erd tree, which is like your ultimate objective. You see Stormvale Castle, which is like your short-term objective. On the very left side, you see like where you started, the tutorial area. In front of you, you see the Site of Grace, which is like your immediate objective. And you see your first big obstacle, which is a tree sentinel. And then an NPC, like a friendly dude, just like from walking out and just seeing everything. And I noticed that the second playthrough, and I was like, damn, like this is pretty fucking cool, because only by looking, like without moving the camera at all, I could see so much information in front of me. I think they do a good job, even though there's no waymarks and shit like that. There's a lot of hints, item descriptions, and even like little hints in the world that lead you to caves and dungeons and stuff like that. I think what blew my mind the most is there's a certain dungeon, like a legacy dungeon, or maybe even not. It's like a massive zone, but it's basically a legacy dungeon. But I found like just through sheer luck from running away from someone and falling into a well, I found another dungeon under the dungeon. And within that other dungeon, I found like another dungeon, like a catacombs. And I found like a hidden wall that went further down, and like a boss, and then another hidden wall that went into a zone under the ground. It's just I was like, damn, dude, like the how are people gonna find that? But it's pretty cool that like you just do some janky shit and
something happens.
You find something happened and you're like, holy shit, dude! I just like fuck, they tucked this away. It's like they make so much content and it's really cool, but they don't kind of force you to go and see it. They're just like it's there, you know. You just gotta find it.
I think what you really need to reconcile yourself with Elden Ring, if you're like a newcomer and was played a lot of other old open world games, like particularly Skyrim and the like, is that it's a game that, unlike Skyrim is a game that allows you to do everything. So you can master the fighter's guild, you can master the mage's guild, and stuff like that. Elden Ring, on the contrary, is a game that actually wants you to miss out on stuff. It wants to lock you out of content and make it inaccessible to you.
I think I accepted it when I was like, okay, I don't need to see everything, because I do want to do different playthroughs for different builds, and you know, being surprised by other stuff and you know, consecutive playthroughs would be sick. You know, it's like, holy shit, I never found that last time, and that already happened to me. So
I super chat Sooty Thunder 199 Sword of Night and Fire breaks Elden Ring. Specific item. I think moving on from here, because I do want to move on from Elden Ring, I do want to talk about something that has popped up with this bullshit, which is the discussion about HUDs. So, well, first of all, there was the tweet. I don't know if everybody saw
the
it.
UX tweet.
The UX tweet, where it was like other developers were like, apparently reviewers didn't care about this and this and this, and that's how it scored this high. Ignoring that it was developers, because I get it. I do get it, especially when the PC version of Elden Ring had so many issues, I even like adjusted my score. I was like, this thing, it's got worse on the patch. So I absolutely do understand why a developer would be like, hey, what the hell is going on here? Like, this doesn't...
Talk about Nixus, right?
Yeah. But here's the thing about that weird HUD kind of discussion that I saw. I saw some Redditor made a, here's what Elden Ring would look like if it was Ubisoft. And so I posted my picture that's not true. It's not true at all. You can play with just the compass. You could technically turn that off too, but I think that'd be quite difficult. I played Ragnarok with just the compass. And what happens is the hyperbole starts to build. And pretty soon people are like, nothing is shown in Elden Ring. There's not even graphics. And then this other side is like, it's all text. There's no graphics. It's just telling you everywhere to go. And it's like, guys, it's neither one. And you can even turn more stuff off in Elden Ring, and you can adjust things, but you can certainly do that in a Ubisoft game. But man, I want to get it out there that, guys, if something's good in one game, it doesn't mean you want that in every other game. Like, I saw people saying, I hope all developers switched, and I'm like, what are you fucking talking about, man? That's, first of all, also, Elden Ring's inventory sucks balls. It sucks delicious,
dude, you know,
balls.
150 hours in, I found out how to sort items.
Mark, because my eyes hurt because I've been in front of the cameras. Everybody's asking me why I'm wearing sunglasses.
Dude, 100. He just doesn't want me to feel, you know.
Yeah. So he goes
left out, you know.
Solidarity.
Go ahead, Absy.
No, just like 100 hours in, that's when I found out how to sort items, because there's no indication at all. I found on Reddit, bro. You can press L3 to sort items. It's fucking crazy.
Well, dude, I didn't buy I told you I didn't get the summon thing. I missed the summon lady.
Yeah, you did.
And I had to buy it like 10 hours later. Yeah, I had to buy it.
He missed what's her name? Renna, Rani or Renna.
She never showed up for me, and I ended up going to the round table, as I like to call it.
And picking it up there.
Picking it up there. Because I thought I broke the game because I knew it was available. It's like, I'm screwed, man, because those can be quite helpful. And
those
they were.
Are helpful.
They were. Yeah. Yeah, dude, release the hounds.
It's such a shame, right? Because, you know, I look at this is the first game in a long time that I've watched multiple reviewers review the game since Destiny. Actually, since Destiny. Because I used to watch like Houndish, Cactus, all these guys, right? I tune in, and how you going to do the Nightfall this week? This game has actually brought that stuff back, because you're looking at different people's builds and how to work a build. I'm having FOMO right now because I have a knight, and I thought I choose, well, not a knight, a warrior. I choose the hardest game for hardest character for a novice to do in this game. Because if I chose a mage, I will be able to fight at a distance. I have to be up close. I have to parry, I have to time, I have to roll, I have to do the backstab. I chose the hardest character to master. And then I'm having FOMO because I'm watching these guys set the world on fire.
Yeah.
Their chest is glowing. They're killing mobs of people, and I can only dream of doing that. And Absy's just said that he started his next character and didn't finish his other one. I said, I think I might be joining.
Bro,
in
dude,
that world.
it's crazy. I
Can
made
I
like
give you a
a
tip?
mage, and it's so different. It's completely different game. Yeah, I think this game, I think strength builds, going strength is probably the hardest. I think dexterity is easier. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people say it's the hardest.
But I do want to move on
when you
from
attack,
Elden Ring
it's
and talk about.
I like the UI conversation because I actually like inadvertently stepped into it just this week because yesterday I released a video called "Mini Maps Are Ruining Your Games." And,
Oh yeah.
And I'm not even like consciously aware of like the debate going on, but then I've seen it, so I guess maybe there's the subconscious. But what actually, this has been a journey for me because there was a message that there's a whole big debate within like the New World forums talking about how they want a mini map, and somebody's created like an add-on for it, and I was like, well, let me think about that because some of the games that really stand out to me over recently, Ghost of Tsushima, like how it's minimized UI and how I just felt like I was in that game. And then it reminded me of Final Fantasy 11, same concept, very minimalist UI. You can pull it up if needed, etc. And I was like, I wonder if that is actually impacting me subconsciously. So as I played through Endwalker, I turned off as many UI elements that I felt like that would not hurt other players, because in a multiplayer game,
right? That's a good
in a multiplayer game, there is like I got to be consciously aware that I don't want to negatively like, hey, I'm running a no UI HUD build and then I'm getting everybody killed. Like then I'm the asshole.
I think it worked a lot in Endwalker as well because there was a lot of like immersive elements in there, like walking with NPCs.
So immersive.
Charles, super chat $4.99. Just found out this last night on Elden Ring. Press L3 on the map to switch between the surface map to the underground. Sooty Thunder $4.99. Out of all From Software games, I feel like this game more than any other puts magic in the forefront. So many weapons have intelligence scaling. Those are both true.
That's true.
When it comes to HUDs, I do believe that we play waypoint to waypoint because I'm a huge fan of like turning them off. And one thing that was hilarious was Reg and I jumped into Lost Ark. It could have been yesterday, could have been the day before. I can't remember, but he was streaming it and he had his mini map transparency on the screen moving because it's a Diablo style game, and those games it can get rough trying to figure out where you're going. But then it dawned on me, I'm like, holy shit, that's covering up a good amount of the graphics, or at least making it look a little janky, right? And that's the only way you could technically play. It's not the only way, but that is a very good quality of life bit for him to have. And I was sitting there going like, man, even in those games, it's an issue. To me, that thing, I don't mind it if somebody else wants it. In fact, I hope companies continue to put waypoints in games. I just want the ability to turn them off. And one thing I got to tell you guys, and people are going to get mad about this, when it comes to no HUD gameplay, I am actually going to tell you without a joke in my mind that I believe Ubisoft does better than Elden Ring in almost all their games. And the reason why is because vocally they usually tell you a hint about where to go. Now, I'm not saying I need a hint all the time, but what I'm saying is if you want to play a no HUD game, most Assassin's Creed titles, you can turn off most of the stuff, and verbally you can pick up what you need to look at, or not even just where you need to go sometimes, but the name of somebody or something. And so I believe that Elden Ring does its own thing, and I love that. But man, I don't want people wanting that in all games, man. At minimum, just have the option. Why not have
just the
options? Just
the game design is like it's based on that. You can't just do it to any game and have it be.
You can't
splendid,
exactly. But all these people, and I said this in the walk. Gamers usually know what they think is fun. They just do not know how to ask for it exactly. They don't know and they don't know how to program for it. We're not programmers. So you can say, this is fun, this quest is fun, and I said that in Witcher 3, this quest is fun, and then they went back and studied the interactions, and they found out that actually everybody hated part 1 and 2 of the quest. They liked part 3. And so they said this quest was awesome. But once they actually broke it down, they were like, no, that quest actually isn't good, because parts 1 and 2 suck. So people were having difficulty getting through 1 and 2, and then the third part was so awesome. This was a Witcher quest, by the way, Witcher 3. They actually went back and adjusted it, and that's one of the things that, like, I don't think people get it. They see something in a game, Nemesis system. It drove me nuts. The Nemesis system came out, and everybody's like, Nemesis needs to be in everything. Lego Nemesis.
I didn't think so.
And you're like, why? That makes no sense. So,
but it's like, don't you want whipped cream on everything? That's the whole concept, right?
Right. It
you
is.
know, can I put drizzle on everything? No, you don't need drizzle on coffee cake all the time. You don't need, you know, drizzle on lemon pie. It's just it goes on certain things, right? And you can appreciate it for what it is when you have it. And I say the same thing. Like, I don't play Destiny to feel like I'm playing a Souls game, you know. And the fact that you can eliminate the HUD in Assassin's Creed, well, I was doing that in Odyssey a long time ago. Because sometimes it gets too convoluted, so you just want to wipe it away. You just want to explore, and when you do that, and then you can pull it up and check. Okay, yeah, I'm going in the right, you know, area. You don't need that everywhere. You know, you have different games for different feelings at the time. You know, sometimes you want to come in and you just want to race real hard, right? So yeah, I just want to do a racing game. And every racing game is. I don't want, if I'm playing Gran Turismo, I don't need it to feel like Forza Horizon.
Exactly.
You know, I don't need that feeling. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. People want that same feeling that they have in this game, but is the euphoria of it. And they want that same euphoria feeling to translate over into the next game. And they think by saying they want this specific thing, this will make that next game feel the same way.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily
I
true.
I think like I said the same about Breath of the Wild when I played it back in the day. And I just want to see more games with that design philosophy of rewarding exploration and shit. You know, just putting you in a world and saying you do whatever the fuck you want, make your own story. Doesn't have to be in every game, but I like this type of stuff, so I want to see more of it. But it's definitely different than saying, oh, every game should turn off waypoints, because you know a lot of games it wouldn't work with. So
not at all.
I mean, for my part, that it's been my bugbear for as long as I've been on this podcast. Modern gaming UIs, where I've always felt they've been too cluttered. So if the success of Elden Ring leads to like more developers saying we can make it cleaner, we can make less clutter, then I'm all for that. That would be freaking amazing, so that I don't feel as compelled to go in and fiddle with HUD options and turn off the minimap, the compass, the quest log, the objective markers. I mean, Dying Light 2 consistently pissed me off because I couldn't turn off the yellow blinking, or not even blinking, but constant yellow marker to tell me you need to go here, and I couldn't even like deselect it in the quest journal.
Right.
Like it was just always there telling me go here, go here, go here.
Yeah.
Like if it leads to that, I would be very, very happy. But again, no, does it need to be that for every game? No, because games are different.
You know what games need to also get rid of? And I want to hear Johnny and Reg, because they haven't got a chance to talk about this. But have you guys noticed, and I played with Reg and Silver with Division, but every Ubisoft game has a delay when you bring up the HUD, the menu, sorry. And I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it has to do with something, memory buffers and stuff like that. But I've noticed a lot of games, including Valhalla Ragnarok, where you click the menu and it does that soft thing where it's like, and you're like, oh my God,
like responsive.
I just wanted to see this one thing. Yeah. And so I'm absolutely for less clutter, but I don't know what it is in particular with Ubisoft games. I don't mind all the other stuff a lot of people bitch about. What I don't like is those delays. And I've seen it in other games too, where you try to go into the menu or the map and it does this weird fade, almost like we're like, look how cinematic we are. And it's like, dude, even YouTubers have gone away from transitions, man. You guys are late. Like,
that's the type of thing where it's like, oh, the UI might look nice or cool animation, but the UX is just terrible because of having to wait
yeah, we've seen that. How many times have we played a game where we're like, man, when I go in the HUD, I hate this game. Or when I go into the menu, I hate this game. But, you know, I felt the same way about Resident Evil. You know, like I know a lot of people love inventory in Resident Evil, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, because you tend to live in your inventory.
Yeah, it's so painful, man.
Yeah. Especially if it's cluttered.
I think when we're looking at all this kind of stuff, I we do have some games coming out. I think one big one will be Starfield, how they handle their UI and their inventory. It'll be definitely interesting to see what they get done. But just wanted to put that out there that people, we don't necessarily want everything in every game. Speaking of Microsoft, though, so King, Microsoft has a show on the 16th of March.
Yeah, I believe the 16th of March, and it's like the Microsoft Twitch show. And the last time Microsoft and Twitch got together, it was a train wreck for me because it turned into a 3-hour show. And the Lords covered it. So we're sitting there and we're going, oh my God, I can't believe that they're doing this. But you also have to remember, Twitch is going to prop up the top streamers.
Yeah.
So if this top streamer is here, they had a show, basically gave each of their top streamers 20 minutes. And it stretched out to 3 hours.
This. Right.
And they had it was one game where it was like a fishing sim boat thing.
Yeah, the Bay something Bay. Yeah,
yes,
wasn't a good game either.
It was like pulling teeth, and I just want them to have a better cadence, because we just watched the State of Play. And the cadence in the State of Play is really good. They learn from Nintendo's, directs, and just quiet, show the game. But I don't think we're going to get that from a Twitch thing because Twitch has their own type of flavor, their own type of formula. Their formula is prop up their streamers. I'm just afraid but excited to see what's going to happen. I hope it's not a 3-hour train wreck like the last time. And I hope it's not, force some personalities down my throat. Pause. But I do hope that they do show compelling new games because, a lot of games got delayed. So hopefully we get a chance to see a lot of those delayed games here now with, a little fresh coat of paint on them.
I don't know about you. Go ahead. Go for it.
There was an event on Twitch. I don't know if it was Jeff Keighley. Maybe it was Jeff Keighley where he partnered up with a bunch of Twitch streamers to stream it, right? So they could stream it on their own channels. But every I kid you not, every 10 minutes or every 2 game trailers, you get a commercial for another stream in the stream saying, come to my stream. And it's like, what the fuck? What is this shit? You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean because because the other person was live, they were running ads and then
they had ad time in the actual show, while at the same time they partnered up with other Twitch streamers to stream it. So it was just really weird to me, very uncomfortable.
We've all sat through, I think in the Discord, we've all sat through a couple different shows, some being good, some being bad. I do think that Twitch does have a particular thing. I had forgot. We all want to be personalities. Everybody who's doing a YouTube channel wants to be bigger. But I'm going to tell you right now, if they were like, hey, man, come on the Game Awards show. No, because I know what people would say about me. It's the same stuff I say about them. I'm like,
I don't care.
I don't care. I want to watch. If I want to watch you, I like watching Dr. Disrespect, for instance. I actually find him funny sometimes, and he's a good player, which is also good. And a lot of his games,
he's really
at least.
good.
Yeah, and so, but if somebody said he's gonna be the announcer for the Game Awards, I'd be all, whoa, we have stepped too far. Just sometimes you're all, stay in your lane. But
they wouldn't let him even be himself though, and because essentially even in hosting a podcast, but in running a show, there is a destination you have to get to, and there's milestones that you have to hit, as opposed to being like, yo, this is my show and we're gonna go in whatever direction that we go in.
This bitch.
Right. And that's what I think what is attractive about the live stream versus something that actually has a structure, a goal, a business level goal that obviously whether it's Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. And that's why, King, I totally agree with you. I think Nintendo knocked it out of the park and redefined the structure. Sony following suit, I think just actually really works well for them. And then I question, will Microsoft at some point make that same jump, or will they just be different in terms of how they do their presentations? Because it's always something to look at.
Foul Boy, $10 super chat. Hang on just one second. I think I was the one that bullied Silver into color via super chats. Just wanted to say he is an integral part of the podcast. You are, and I want to say thank you, and I'll pay you back, but I appreciate it. You did. He was doing black and white too often. Go ahead, King. What were you gonna say?
I just think he who has the most money is going to do the most, right? And Nintendo likes to act like they don't have money, right? They want us to be fooled into believing they have, the smaller pockets out of the big three. And they do a nice show, nice button up real, one guy comes out, this is my game, blah, blah, blah. than the game, right? Sony took it a step further. We're not going to show you anything. We're just going to tell you. And next game coming up, all right, so very minimalist. Microsoft has more money. So what they do, they go out and get personalities. You have a bowl sitting there with a bunch of controllers inside and some gumballs and people
Mountain
talking
Dew
like
and Doritos.
Exactly, right? So here comes the sponsors. We got to push this, right? And we have the DLC coming out. I think they have to remove that fluff. Take that fluff out. Give the gamers, like, if it's going to be and say it, this is going to be a Game Pass streaming type of thing, and this is what we're going to get on Game Pass. Oh, and this is what we're working on. So have our future projects. This is what we're working on for future projects. So you know going in if you're going to waste your time or not, because the worst thing in the world is to go there, sit down for 45 minutes, and there's absolutely nothing that you thought was going to be there, and you're hoping and you're praying. But if you knew it was a Game Pass show, like they did say the indie secondhand, second party show, everybody knew going in what it was. You could have hopes later, but you knew you had your expectations nice and low.
King just described what it's like to be a listener to our podcast, because I don't do timestamps. You show up hoping something good is said,
so many people,
and you waste 3 hours of your life.
Hi, people in the comments now bitching about it.
Yeah,
What's
probably.
good?
Hey, Reg, do you even watch the directs anymore? Because you're like one of the bigger Nintendo fans here. You're like one of the people I actually hear. I mean,
it depends. If I know it's like themed for, let's say, Smash or whatever,
sure,
then probably gonna skip it.
Oh,
but
okay.
if it's like an indie direct where I know they show some probably interesting indie games, because they're usually good, then I'm watching it.
All right.
I feel like I get the best Square Enix news out of the Nintendo Directs. At least that's
or
them
yesterday's
to me.
State of Play. It should have just been called State of Square. Wasn't it like 90% Square Enix games?
I think they should show like two or three Square Enix games, right?
I think you're wrong.
I
think it was
Valkyrie, the new another strategy,
RPG? Yeah,
what?
like
I only saw
octagon strategy or something.
Yeah, I know.
Oh god.
Triangle. Yeah.
But I just want Nintendo to get out of the fucking 90s. Like, come on, man. Like their state of whatever's, like they seem very, very archaic. It's just really weird. Even the narrator, like he's so cool. Like it's so
Johnny,
weird.
do you notice any of this kind of stuff, or does this? Because I know that you're a little bit more, I would say, on the easygoing side of the ACG podcast. You're like, hey, if a friend's there, a piece of shit game will still be amazing.
Godfall,
Godfall. I'm just joking.
God awful.
No, seriously though, when you watch these, are you like expecting something big from a Nintendo Direct or a Sony or a Microsoft show?
I think for me, the State of Play is always very low expectation, and
Good
because
man.
I've watched.
We've been burned.
I think most of them
with
the recent ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always like something very small gets announced, and it's short trailers that you can catch after the show if there's one you're interested in, and it's never the big game you're waiting for. It's never Final Fantasy 16 or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
it's always
dude. I wanted to see
it's
that.
always like this obscure indie samurai game that's coming out. It's kind of cool, but not really why I stayed up late to watch. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I think it's also because with Sony, we're watching them actually transition, like in real time. Like if you go back 2 years to State of Play, it's like we believe in generations, and then it's like Microsoft with the Xbox One going like, oh shit, and then we're seeing them like here's what we had planned, and behind the scenes they're making big plays, which I couldn't be happier about. Like some of the things that Sony has been doing, buying Bungie, I think that's actually really huge, really key. But those still things take a long time to line up your marketing, your messaging, to be able to deliver it coherently. And I think that's what people are kind of watching, and will probably continue to watch for another year.
Edzilla super chat, $10. Cheers, everybody. Luke super chat, $1. Doesn't say anything, so I'll just say thank you to him. I think with Microsoft, I don't know about you guys, but I certainly do see the one thing that a lot of people are talking about is delayed games into 2022. So the 2021 game is delayed. But I have it on very, very, very good, super solid, like sort of announcement that there's going to be 2 or 3 in April, 2 or 3 in May and June. And the reason why is because The games that were planned for 2022 were not delayed. They just haven't been announced yet. And so I do think that especially like the midsummer, late fall is going to get far busier. I don't know what's going to be announced at Microsoft's announcement or not, but I do think that people are forgetting that at some point in the state of play, people are. What was the game everybody thought was? Bloodborne, a remaster of Bloodborne. Everybody's like, oh, it's for sure happening. Blah blah blah. For sure means no. But
I mean, Bloodborne, anything is pretty much like Switch Pro.
Yeah, right.
It's a requirement to be a YouTuber to talk about Switch Pro every year.
It is, and I'm just saying that like we have some surprises that are coming that sound like they're really cool, and I don't want to get my hopes up, but I thought State of Play would have more. It did have a lot of Square Enix stuff. I'm hoping Microsoft has some. I would like Microsoft to do a monthly thing, but I don't know. I mean, weren't they already? Was Microsoft already doing real quick? Was Microsoft already doing a monthly super quick?
It stopped.
It stopped. Okay.
It stopped. You don't remember? They were on fire.
Yeah.
Like they were on such a roll. It was like a monthly thing. And it turned into like every other Monday they dropped new good information. On a Friday it'd be bad information. Because so it could die in a news cycle. And they were on fire. I think right now with this acquisition and all the stuff that's going on here, because I don't like Microsoft's cadence. I don't. What they do is they give Sony the first half of the year.
Yeah.
Nintendo drops however they're going to drop. They don't care about whatever either one of them is doing. And not at all, because if you can sell tons.
Do we have any games?
Nintendo really doesn't, all around doesn't care.
Roll it up, put it out.
Whoa,
is that Kirby ready to go?
You held on to that for too long. We missed a full month.
They don't care. So, but I think with the Game Pass model, and they're too reliant. Like right now, we got Guardians of the Galaxy inside Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big title, really a big title, because it's a real good title, as well. But it's a big title this month that takes a lot of steam out of whatever was, first party released on Sony thing. And I think that thought pattern is wrong, but they need the developers, because they have 36 of them now. Well, should have 36 by the time this stuff is, finalized. That they can release a game in every quarter, a good game in every quarter, because it goes to Game Pass. And then you can have the AA games releasing in those months, those passion projects.
Yeah.
And don't give the competition room to breathe, because, Spartacus is coming. All right. So you saw the State of Play that was there, and a lot of that stuff.
Spartacus
somebody
died.
Somebody was they were saying that there's
spoilers,
Spartacus stuff in there, for later on. I think I see the remnants of it, like the building blocks for it, because that one game Valkyrie, it looks like a complete PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah.
But that's a game that you can drop inside your service that can work, right?
Yeah.
So I think Microsoft really needs to work on that on the 16th to give a little bit of a clearer roadmap for the rest of this year going forward. Like you said, in April, some games should be announced and should be talked about going into the E3 cycle. But I don't like the cadence of we will own the end of the year.
Right.
How about you do one thing at least in February and March and get some of these tax dollars, this tax refund money that Microsoft, Sony and Nintendo.
King, you're probably right. They may be, Microsoft might just be still hinging on that Christmas Thanksgiving rush and not realize that there's, and especially now, guys, obviously it's GT and Elden Ring are like doing gangbusters, so obviously people have money in these months. I think for a long time it was that weird almost school system where it's like summer months you don't sell because kids are outside on their bikes, blah blah blah. It's like, dude, that shit went away in the 80s, man. Kids are ready to play your games any goddamn month. If it's a good game, you can sell now. And especially because you don't even have to go to store for half of these. It's all digital.
Also, we're all playing games still as adults. Like one of the things that I clearly remember there being a line in which that it was weird that I was a gamer. Yeah. And then all of a sudden became like, oh yeah, like Brian's the guy you go talk to for games. Like it's like as games went online and all of a sudden it becomes a social outlet for all of us. Like that's when all of a sudden I think you start seeing mass exception. And that's also helps with sales because like who has money? My kids don't. They think they do.
Right.
They broke.
Yeah, like the
Plus, I
one
don't think
saying
they'll-
is like, no, I'm doing fine. You, not a lot of money. Me, I'm
Right.
okay. You,
Right.
you don't even have an allowance.
Yeah.
Reg, speaking
Plus-
of free games, let's do the games of the week for the
All
free
right.
ones. But Absy wants to say something before we do that.
No, I just was gonna say. Plus, I think COVID had something to do with it because everyone and their moms bought PCs
Mhm.
and started gaming
Oh.
more, and it
True-
became way more
true
popular
story,
as
yeah.
well. You know?
Very
it's
true, very
absolutely
true.
true. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
VR.
Go ahead there, Reg.
It's a short list again. So to start off, totally free on the Epic Game Store, Cities Skylines.
Oh,
And then subscription is only Game Pass this week. And we have for PC and Xbox Game Pass, Kentucky Route Zero, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which is definitely the big one,
yeah.
and Young Souls. And only for Game Pass console, so for Xbox, is Lawn Mowing Simulator.
A Lost Ark plug in there? 'Cause,
Kentucky
like-
Route Zero is worth trying out.
Kentucky Route Zero is worth trying out. I mean, Lawnmower Simulator is too. I think I own every one of the simulator games.
Wait, do you get to bang the cougar that
No,
hires you
unfortunately
as a
not. That's
side
Pool
quest?
Cleaner Simulator. That's coming out soon, baby. Pool cleaner,
Bad.
where you're like you're out there with your little broom and
With
blah
the
blah blah. And
towels?
she's like do 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 coming out. Yeah, no man. The simulator games, I'm a sucker for them. I don't even like to review them because they're usually not ready right away, but they build and they're so zen for me. Like I hear other people talk about zen games and the simulator games like building a motorbike or whatever, and it really there's some freedom there, but something about the way they work is just it's amazing for me. Those lists, Guardians is probably the biggest one on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. I mean, except for Absy. It's not huge for Absy because I saw your
Why?
Twitter. I saw your Discord. Didn't you say you bought it? Literally just bought
Guardians?
Yeah.
Yo, I think like I had a lot of shit. Wait, what?
He's laughing at your bad fortune, I think.
I had
So- So
I-
you just bought it.
no. So I bought it a while ago, like after it
Right.
came out, right?
Mhm.
But I
Okay.
had a lot of shit going on, right? So I didn't play it until now. So when it came out on Game Pass. So
Yeah.
so I was like, fuck me, dude. Dude, this happens all the fucking time on Game Pass. I buy literally like 3 or 4 games on Steam, and those same 3 or 4 games come out on Game Pass every single time, bro.
It is. I mean,
They're just waiting for you to buy it.
It's actually happened to me so many times. I've looked to see if I'm being.
Why is it the games I want?
Here's the thing, though, Absy. Let's go deep mind on this. Let's go AI GPT-3. I firmly believe the reason why I'm buying those 2 or 3 games is somewhere in the inner space that's being talked about, and that is connected to them going to Game Pass later. Because this is, it sounds like a conspiracy, so just hold on, little green men. But this has happened
Lizard
so
people.
often
This is
that
beautiful.
I'm now under the opinion that it gets into these businesses. They know what games are coming to Game Pass. So what happens is Steam puts them more in ads or something
Yeah.
because they want to sell
that's
them early.
absolutely
Do you see what
happens.
I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I
so
work
it's not
in-
as
in
UFO-ish
data.
as oh, you're right, you do. Yeah, it's not as UFO-ish as it sounds, but it's just like
I got something
happens so
worse.
often. Oh, go
I
ahead.
got something worse. So I'm playing some game, probably Destiny, and a message pops up, and it says so and so gifted you a game. So I said, well, who gifted me a game? What the hell is going on here? And the message said, King, I'm sick and tired of you waiting for Game Pass to get games, and he gifts me Death's Door. Death's Door came out the next day in Game Pass.
You can't even refund gifted games.
No, you
can
can't refund
No.
gifted games. No.
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 So I had
Oh,
to
you gotta
troll
love
him on
that.
Sunday, and I said, you know what, I got to do something. I got to send him a game or something like that. And I sent him something I know definitely wasn't coming to Game Pass, like a Square Enix game or something. But I was just like, you know, like, here you go, because you definitely tried to look out, but I wait for a reason. So yeah.
I just feel like there's something out there and they're tracking me. Like
It's
I
a
just-
gamble,
No, it's
bro.
just
I just have to wait for everything to come out on Game Pass. I think I'm just gonna do that.
Well, not
uh,
if you review games. It's
Just
impossible.
Yeah.
speaking of simulator games, I don't know if you saw me tagging you, Karak, but
I did.
Ironsmith Simulator
Yeah,
just
I did.
released.
We need to
Um,
tag Brav, who was a ironsmith.
Well, I mean,
everything, dude. He was
Rob
an insect
everything.
person.
Dude, Rob has done everything.
does it?
That dude,
All over the world.
He was doing that. Then he was in whatever insect science is.
Yeah, that he started that. Yeah,
Got a degree in that. This guy goes everywhere. Like, he pops in about once every 3 months. I'll be like, so, Brav, what's going on? He's like, well, got hit by a car, moved to France, fucking got my degree in this, moved back to Mexico. And you're like, back? I didn't even know you were at. What is happening?
Which country was he sent back home from?
Yeah, he was one country.
That was
sent
Argentina.
Him home. Argentina sent him home, and you're just like, dude, this guy. I think he's a drug runner. But real quick,
Argentina sent him home.
I want to read the rest of the games in March.
Yeah, he got sent home from the ends of the world.
Yeah, this is a little segment I want to read so that we can talk about if there's anything big. These are games for March after today. So today's the 11th. We have WWE 2K22, which has got reviewed middling. Phantom Break, Omnia, which I haven't heard of. The Cruel King and the Great Hero, Paradise Killer, Tunic. Wait a minute, is Tunic already?
Tunic.
Tunic looks awesome. Did I miss Tunic?
No,
it hasn't come out. They keep showing it off.
It's getting ready to come out. It didn't come out yet.
Okay, great. Anno Mutatum, which I've never heard of. Monster Energy Supercross 5, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Shredders, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. That's on the 18th, people. Rune Factory 5, A Memoir Blue, The Ascent, finally coming to PlayStation on March 24th. Ghostwire Tokyo, coming on March 25th. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which looks to be hot. That's March 25th.
Yeah, it looks pretty sick.
Crusader Kings
so glad
3 on console. Not sure how they're going to do that, but that comes out on the 29th. Death Stranding, Director's Cut. Starship Troopers, no one gives a shit, March 31st. And Weird West has been delayed.
Weird West. Oh, what?
I thought
Again?
Weird West was delayed out of... I could be wrong. I just
Out of
remember it was
March? I thought it was 25th. I don't know. It
Then
might have
maybe.
been.
Any of those games, you guys... we can talk a little bit about Persona because the demo came out. Did anybody do Stranger's Paradise?
No.
I don't have a PlayStation 5 yet, but I'm excited for that, for Strangers in Paradise as a Final Fantasy fan. I don't even care if the game's good. Like, it's just like Final Fantasy.
Did you see? There's a lot of cool jobs in that one.
Yeah, like 27 jobs or something.
27? Yeah.
I was just like, heck yes.
And you can change freely,
it,
like
and I'm done.
Neo.
I'm not going to say anything, I think, because I almost said something I wasn't supposed to say. So I'm going to let Johnny, who's played the demo, what do you think of the demo?
So for me, there are two big problems. One, it lacks quite a bit of polish. So graphics at times can look good, but then in other times they just look really bad, and you have shadows kind of popping off and going all weird and all over the place. And some of the areas look very bare. The menus, are just kind of not great to navigate and just cumbersome for me. And then the other issue that I had was like the visual tone. There's like a mismatch. They're trying to do like different things. So you have the Final Fantasy style of some of the big areas with cathedrals and stuff like that. And then like the main character is basically wearing like some denims or something like that. And, he has this aesthetic of being the military jacked guy that doesn't also really fit with the vibe. It's almost like they're mixing DMC5 with some aspects of Neo, and then like trying to shoehorn that into a Final Fantasy world setting. And it almost works, but there's something about it that's almost like Uncanny Valley, where you can see that it's off.
It feels like a meme
in several aspects for me, and it just doesn't quite connect.
You knock it out of the park, especially because like when you watch the trailer and his name's Jack, and everything is so fanciful, and it's like Jack, no Jack,
and I'm like, he's
the
this
name
grunting guy. He's just like,
it's worse.
And he has a phone and listens to his headphones and shit.
If you think Savior of the World Jack is bad, just wait. It's like Jack, Bob, Bill, and Dude. It's
Sally.
Like, it's the demo's out, so if people get a chance, you can go ahead and play it. I'll have a review out for that. But yeah, you know what? I mean, Final Fantasies have always felt different. It certainly does feel at times when playing the demo like DMC a little bit, and a little bit of Monster Hunter at times. Just some of the ideas. It does feel like they've merged a lot of stuff, I guess.
I wish they would change the art style. It seems like they got stuck in the Bouncer's world. Remember that game, The Bouncer?
Bouncer, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I thought it was great. You know, what that came out for the PlayStation 3? Oh, was it the PlayStation 2?
I think it's 2. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2,
Yeah,
right?
that's PlayStation 2. Yeah.
That's PlayStation 2, right? So I think they got stuck in that art style, and they've been trying to actually, fine tune that style, and they've been plastering it and plastering it and plastering. And I just want them to step away from that style and actually do a totally different style. Leave that dystopian world alone with the thoughts of everything has to worry about the crystals and stuff like that, and just like move off to something a little
Always
bit
fucking
different.
crystals, dude. It's always crystals.
Somebody's worrying about a lot of crystals.
The mother crystal.
I don't know. I know it's a Final Fantasy world. Like I love Forspoken. Like the thoughts of how Forspoken looks and the thoughts of it and seeing stuff like that. I want more diversity, and not with characters. I'm talking about the world.
Yeah, no, I get
right.
it.
Give me something totally. Give me a complete sand world. Give me something different, something completely different. And it just seems like they go to the well all the time, and all those worlds are interchangeable with different faces. That's about it.
I think that's why I'm excited for Final Fantasy 16, because they're kind of just taking it and going like, we're going full fantasy, just full on like Game of Thrones type shit. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Final Fantasy 16 is actually what I've been calling the biggest kind of like litmus test for Square Enix for a long time, because like as a software engineer, like and working in and having, lots of experience across different industries, but cultural change takes a lot of effort and time. And what Yoshi P did as he related to Final Fantasy 14, you saw a light impact on 15. You saw some of that impact that he made in the culture on 15, but I said the minute like he took over and that 14 was like, oh my gosh, people are paying attention to this game again, and it's really good. Then I was like, just wait till 16. 16 is going to be a real test of his impact, and the fact that he's the producer of 16 is is going to dictate. Like I think when people look at 16, assuming its success, etc., I think people will end up saying like, we want this team just in charge of it, rather than, Strangers of Paradise is labeled Strangers of Paradise by Team Ninja. Like at the end of the day, it's like, I think they were like, well, hell, let's just throw something against the wall, see what happens. And 16 being kind of a real key milestone for the company, I would think. I just
want a game from them to not look like the world's worst K-pop band going on an adventure.
Yes,
like I'm so done. It's like, yeah, Girls' Generation. Hey, they got some cool pop. Let's have them. It's like, no, what are you doing? It's every time, and I get that a lot of people are into anime and all that stuff.
That's 50% of their.
I know it is. I know it is. But dude, when I see a dude in a game, not saying it's this game, but in a game with jeans that are chaps and coveralls, at some point I'm just like, dude, you guys, everything's melted together. It's so, and it never, at some point Final Fantasy has no, it's Final Fantasy looks like Final Fantasy, yes, because nothing else looks like it, but that's because nothing else looks like it, because it looks like shit in some of the designs. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean the spiky hair and stuff like that.
Exactly what I mean.
I just mean this menagerie, man. And it's like, let's glue all this shit together. And you guys got to realize, man, I actually loved, and I know a lot of people didn't like, I actually liked 15, right? Was the last.
15 was great.
I actually like that. I'm not, but even that was a boy band in a car listening to tunes, being like,
it was dope, man.
And you're just like,
don't mock the boy band.
No,
okay?
I liked it, but I'm saying it. It's like there's no surprise. Speaking of surprise,
I mean, you also had 10 where like X2 where Yuna became like a pop singer as well.
Yeah, a gun mage. I loved it. Oh,
actual K-pop.
People give me such hell. I love 10-2 over 10. Like I preferred 10-2.
Is 10-2 different? What's 10-2 versus? It's
a sequel of 10.
Every Final Fantasy game, they've always kind of consisted that like they're their own thing.
Right.
You could take off the number and it's its own thing. And 10-2 being a follow-up, same thing with 13-2, where it's actually like in universe, continuing some part of the story. And they haven't done that as much. And then there's the overall grand narrative of Dissidia, in Final Fantasy that basically unites all of these universes together in some way of the form of light and darkness and the battle within. Now, I don't play the Dissidio games because I can't get. I've tried and just didn't connect with this. But the story is cohesive, and so within the world of Final Fantasy, there are certain characters that are the same character across all universes. Thing like Gilgamesh, things like like there's all these different
obviously the primals and all of them, like Ifrit and Shiva and
Well, within the primals themselves, like they are in universe, but like Gilgamesh is the same Gilgamesh in Final Fantasy V as he is in 14, as he is in, like that's the same person. He's just happens to be somebody who just kind of hops around looking to stir up some stuff.
Abzi, I want you to get, so that we don't forget, I want you to do the update.
Oh yeah, sure. First update we got, a huge one, was Dying Light 2. It got like so much shit. I'm not gonna list everything. I'm just gonna say like the headlines. It got story quest fixes, co-op fixes, Night Runner tool fixes, combat improvements, ragdoll improvements, night improvements and balance, UI, UX improvements, additional ending scenes, technical improvements, and I think called the Brutality Pack. That one I'm going to go a little bit more into it. Hits with sharp weapons are more precise, allow players to chop off body parts and cut them in half more easily. Reworked audio for enemy hit response, different sounds played depending on the strength of hit and the damage. Blood splatters, better blood splatters. If you're close to an enemy, blood splatters on your screen, and dead enemies are now interactive, so you could chop off dead bodies. So it's pretty cool.
The performance stuff.
This is the murder
performance.
Xbox
yeah,
Series S,
Xbox. Yeah, so Xbox Series S got a 60 FPS mode, and Xbox Series X got a balanced mode, which locks it at 60 FPS. At a presumably higher resolution compared to performance mode. So I'm thinking it's like adaptive resolution or something, right?
So chop up human bodies at a higher
chop up
fidelity.
Everything, better blood splatters, a million fixes, better, and the better boss fight, because people were complaining about that. So they fixed some shit there. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get to the end, but they the second game is Crusader Kings 3. And it got balance changes, AI changes, performance, interface, art, localization, game content, a lot of more role play options and shit like that. User modding options, and it just says like database improvements and bug fixes. So it got a pretty big one. And then there's Evil Geniuses 2, which also got bug fixes. And there's new side stories for recruiting super agents, and something called Ocean's Campaign Pack, and a bunch of other shit. I don't know. I never played this game. And Outward Definitive Edition got announced. Outward is like a co-op game or a solo game, but it's on Steam, and it's pretty fucking cool. It's like an adventure with a friend. It's pretty janky though. It's like a Euro jank game, but it's pretty damn fun. But it's getting a definitive edition, which basically migrates. So the game has DLCs, but the issue is that the DLCs are within like constricted to their own regions. But so this one, what it does is obviously there's like a graphics update, better co-op mechanics and stuff, but it also migrates all the DLCs into the game better, so that you get the mechanics of the DLC and like enemy types and shit throughout the whole game, rather than being constricted to its own region. Obviously it comes out, you don't have to buy the DLC, you just buy the definitive edition. There's also more unique situations you get yourself into, because you can get like robbed, you can get you can get sent to prison, kidnapped, all that shit. So they added more of that. They also added new illnesses, so you get sick from other stuff, and a bunch of location overhauls. But that's announced. Yeah, it didn't come out yet.
We got
it just says
COVID
coming
update
soon
for the game. You can now get COVID.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So someday in 2022, it's coming out. So.
That game, yeah, it is. It's like Two Worlds or Elix, but a little bit better graphics and a little bit smaller.
Yeah, and it's just it's kind of like it's not really, there's the story is there, but it's not really like the big thing. I think it's just if you're playing with a friend, especially, you get yourselves in like fucked up situations, hilarious situations.
Didn't you say you guys got arrested and then got in prison and escaped from prison?
So we had a huge haul of shit. We were like, me and my friend were like walking back to like store all our shit in our home, because you get a house and stuff. But on the way, bandits or knights or something basically knocked us out, and then we woke up in prison, and then we actually had to do like a whole prison escape with like rocks and shit to get out of prison. And yeah, it's janky, but it has some cool shit like that, where you can go and tell your friends, oh my god, this happened.
AA games. Man. They're like, let's put it in there. It may not work perfect, but
it's like We the Police, dude. Stuff like that. Yeah.
I like that game. I might be the only person in the world who liked that. I really like
Cog.
Does Cog like it as well?
Cog loves that game. And don't they got part 2, like We the Police Part 2?
Yeah, it wasn't as good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't as good.
It wasn't as good. But one, I got to talk to Cog about that. It's such a weird game. I never would have. It's like a Revolution game, Silver, that we like.
Yeah.
We the Revolution.
We the Revolution, where I'll like a game, but you don't want to bring it up because most people, that's nerd. Like that's when you're in the nerd group, and then you mention it and everybody's like, "What the fuck is this nerd talking about?"
Well, he's a Nintendo Switch head, so it's the fact that he's at work or he's at the gym in the steam room or whatever, and he has a Switch on, wiping the glass off,
spritzing it down, playing,
making sure steam is not inside.
All steamy. Silver, you have an independent game of the month, right? An indie game?
The week. Yes, I do.
Sorry, month would be weird.
This one is for those of you like myself, like Reg, like Karak. I don't know about Brian or King, who played the old school LucasArts and Sierra point and click 2D games. It's basically made in the style of sort of a Scum VM LucasArts game.
Monkey Island,
where like Monkey Island, where you select like an action, like look at, talk to, and whatnot to interact with stuff. It's called Pants Quest, and it's a very small game. It's essentially about you wake up and you can't find your pants, and so you have to find them in your apartment. It's basically a game that deals with sort of anxiety and depression, but not in a way that's very sad.
This is a unique game already. You gotta find your pants, but you're depressed.
Somebody been roofing.
Yeah, because it deals with like how like small things can sort of pile up on top of each other and start to seem insurmountable until all of a sudden the idea of even getting out of bed in the morning it becomes a significant challenge.
What is this, a real life simulator?
Yeah, it's like Dark Souls life simulator.
But it does it with a lot of humor and a lot of charm, and has a very sort of upbeat like tone to it, even with the serious subject matter. It's very brief, it's very breezy, it's fun, it's charming pixel art. I definitely recommend people take a look at it, especially if, like me, you have a soft spot for those old school point and click adventure games. It's definitely a nice callback to that. It is only about $7, like a little under that, so I can't really fault the value for money there, I don't think. Like, it's just a nice little game.
If people are listening, they're wondering, when we talk about like Monkey Island and stuff, it's more like just think of Thimbleweed Park, which is a newer title that's like that. So you may have heard of that. Real quick, I'm going to read these super chats. Patha 179 somethings. What's this chatter about Xbox and From Software's deal? I don't know any chatter about From Software and Xbox, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to make your YouTube, make a YouTube channel, do a video, say that you know somebody who knows somebody whose brother works at one of those companies, and it's true, and I swear to God, you get 1,000 subscribers. Dad Beats, $15. When is ACG coming to Game Pass? I'd buy that for $1. Wow. This dude won't even buy me full price. What a bitch. He's like,
you for $1.
He's all, I'll take maybe Karak. I'll download Karak for $1.
I'll buy that for $1.
So those are the end of the segments, but talking about independent games and all those kind of things, is there any other games that you guys have been playing that sort of deserves a shine before we jump back into topics? We haven't done this before, but it sort of became a thing on Twitter where I was like, what's a game out there that maybe you're playing? We the Revolution is one that I'd never mentioned.
I think it's called Tide. It's like it got released inside Game Pass, and it's like your Aquaman's baby, right? Because this thing never comes up for air, right? And I think it's called Tide. I'm trying to pull it up right now. I'm trying to sneak it in. Pause.
Like that laundry detergent.
Yeah, but it's it's a really cool game because it's really completely different. And okay, Arc, where is it? Oh, Far. It's called Far.
Oh, that one.
I was gonna mention that one.
I was gonna mention it too.
I'm thinking of
Is that what it is?
The water. Yeah, Changing Tide.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
And it was so weird because I saw it at one of their indie shows, and then it finally hit in Game Pass, and I was super intrigued by it because I love the fact of the proposition of Game Pass. A lot of these games you're intrigued by, but you don't want to spend the money on and just be disappointed, right? But this gives you the proposition like a buffet. You can just try it, like, oh, those cookies look good. Let me try one, right? So this cookie looked good, and I said, oh, let me see. And I didn't know it was like Aquaman's baby, and I'm swimming it around, and I'm jumping, and I'm like, this guy doesn't die underwater, because I held him underwater for at least 2 minutes. So I'm like, okay. So it's light puzzle solving, and you get to the ship. It's this gigantic ship that this little guy is controlling, and you have to worry about the wind while you're checking out the vistas in the background, and then you reach one destination. It's light puzzle solving.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know the premise or the where this little guy is going. So because there's no one telling you anything.
Right.
It's just this little dude needs to get from point A to point B, but you have no idea why. Like, who left this little kid out here? What's going on? So I'm on the ocean, the tides, trying to get from point A to point B, and I just want to know why they left this little aqua baby alone, and why he's so good with machinery, and why is the world in ruin, but you see wildlife in the distance. It's a very beautiful game. It's a unique game, and that's what I'm playing right now, and that's my break from Elden Ring. Like, I'll break Elden Ring, and I'll jump into something calming and relaxing without much thought, and that's one of them.
Excellent. What about you, Reg? Oh God.
Oh,
I don't even know why. I asked.
Take a wild fucking guess.
Yeah, I don't even know why.
Take
I asked.
a wild
I even
fucking
told myself I should probably just tell Reg to not worry about it. Do you have
playing
any
Candy Crush?
Do you have any other game?
No, the only other game I played a little bit is Horizon, and that's it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Absy.
I'm playing this little game called Elden Ring. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't do it.
No. On the side, I'm playing Risk of Rain 2 because it just got a new DLC, and it's pretty sick. But it also has weird shit in it, like you get a debuff that just kills you. So there's that. It literally pops and kills you. I got so weird. But there's also, I was playing and Ascent. I play here and there because it got a lot of like co-op fixes and shit. So it did less bugs now. So that's pretty cool.
Great game. What about you, Johnny?
This little game called League of Legends on the side.
Highly addictive.
Have I told you about this game called League of Legends?
Like trying to sell me a watchtower as a Mormon showing up at my house.
Someday I'll get you into it, Karak. And listen, you'll get competitive, dude, and we'll be like try-harding together.
I won't jump into it because I don't know if I would, but when I do get into something, it's not.
Oh, dude, I think you might. Yeah.
Brian, are you playing anything? Like
it's not indie title. I mean, it's a little company from Square Enix, but Triangle Strategy has legit, like, it is, for me, like, it is so good. And I think somebody described it, and I talked about like it in a video, and somebody was like, yeah, if you like reading a book and then occasionally having these battles, like the story and the characters, while some could be better voice acted, like, I'm not going to fault it because it really feels like I'm playing like through a Game of Thrones. It's very political driven relationships and connections.
I thought it was like Final Fantasy or something. Like, I don't know.
So it's better than Octopath, huh?
Oh yeah, like it's by far better than Ocarina. Well, because the characters have relationships. You're gonna really like some of these characters immediately, and then you're gonna like, got bad news for you. And then at the same time, then there's some real just jerks that you're like, I can't. I'm just like, I just want to get to the fight where I know I can hopefully fight him, and I hope nobody backstabs him before I have the chance to take him out.
Have the choices been good? Like I know JRPGs usually don't have choice in them, so
they have. I feel like they have, and I can only really come back and say that on multiple playthroughs because you do make choices that will take you from nation to nation and impacts the characters that you run into, and then can join up. And so your choices have an impact on that. But the battles themselves also are filled with choice and how you decide. I've been playing it fully on hard mode, and that game will kick your butt. In fact, I got highlights of me getting my ass handed to me, but then I changed my strategy as a strategy game, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, that I had to rethink that, because I was just like, I'm just gonna roll up on this and I'm gonna win because I'm good at video games, and the game's like, all right, good luck.
So you're saying it's like FF14 MSQ where you talk for hours and then do combat.
Lots of talk. And the thing though, it's here's a random praise. It has an auto advance feature where like it auto advances the story, and the pacing is spot on. It's spot on pacing in the auto advance, because then it feels like you're actually like the story, and like rather than it waits for you to press a button before it moves on. So if you're just like, I'm just gonna like absorb all this, it's spot on. And I loved the auto advancement, because it didn't, like in 14 in some cases in the MSQ,
you have to wait a little bit more.
I'm not like they did better in Endwalker though. They did better in Endwalker between like the auto advance, but in Triangle Strategy,
the wait,
they nailed
it's
it.
like, come on, my dude, chop, right? Okay, we have places to get to. yeah.
But there's some characters and some lines that are just delivered that you're like, they didn't really go full out, but they didn't do a bad job either. It's not like you would, not play this game because
it's like, shut the fuck up, Orianje. Come on,
let's go.
Orianje. Yeah.
But I haven't fully cleared it yet, but I intend to actually do another playthrough of it, especially because like the choices that are presented to you, and it's done such in a unique way, is that when you go and you basically try to persuade. So you ultimately have like, it's kind of a democratic system, but you basically go and try to persuade like how people want to vote, and then they vote, and then you're like, okay, that's the decision.
That's really cool.
And I was like, oh, so like right now, like the first one that comes up, everybody's evenly split, and then it's like, well, where do you want to go? And so you then need to go, and it'll show you who's like, I'm on this side, or I'm undecided. And then you kind of let it play out, and then you go from there. So I highly recommend Triangle Strategy. It will be coming to PC. There's no official announcement.
Been talking about Triangle Strategy this entire time.
Yeah,
Damn, really? That's cool. I didn't know. Sorry,
it's great.
I was looking forward to it for a while.
David asked me questions. I would have been like,
it's good. No, that's totally. I just haven't heard much about it. Like
I was looking forward to it for a while, but I was kind of a little bit hesitant because Octopath Traveler's story sucked ass. So I was like, well, I was hesitant.
It was pretty cool. I found out a bad lesson. That's a Game Pass lesson. I brought the game on Nintendo Switch, and it came out on Game Pass.
Oh, there you go, dude. It's just like me, man.
On my thing. Yeah. That's why I laughed so hard.
I thought, from what I had heard about Octopath, at least the people I talked to, is that the story was actually good. It was that people were mad they didn't ever merge up.
Right.
Well, that's absolutely true. Like the stories of the characters were pretty good. They were pretty good. Yeah. There's no overarching thing. Yeah. There's no like overarching story.
There's no interpersonal relationship. They are little nuggets in Octopath, but there isn't like a cohesive like, oh yeah, and this actually impacts if this person's here in that scene. And that's where I hope that future Octopath versions actually get to explore. But the story then in Triangle in this case is that it's cohesive.
They hit on some crazy subjects too in Octopath
right out the gate, dude. Like there's like you got racism, you got like
prostitution and stuff,
rape, and it's like for me is
good stuff.
All positive.
As
a parent though, it's nice because it's not necessarily so in your face, so I can actually like play the game, and my kids are like, oh, this is cool, and they're getting myself killed because they'll take over the controller for me. And but like I'm not worried about them like oh, we're going to show the scene or something like that, so they're kind of like oblivious. And the art style, it's so beautiful, that 2D HD, like I'm very nice. Bring it to all of the old stuff, and I'll let Karak come back before
it. like imagine they remade all the old Final Fantasies with that type of art style. I'd eat it up.
I think a lot of people would. Dragon Quest 3 is getting the treatment, and that's coming out maybe this year or next year, which is going to be huge. And then essentially like they're doing Alive. That's kind of a remaster that never came to America, so that's gonna be really cool to see. But the technology, I think, is incredible. Like when you look at that, you're like, this is exactly how you honor the past and at the same time make it accessible to modern audiences.
So Triangle Strategy, is it like 3 characters instead of Octopath? It's like dudes are gonna be try.
I think it's essentially you kind of have like as the game progresses, you have multiple different choices, and it kind of has that aspect.
Isn't there 3 nations in the game? Isn't that just set up?
Yeah, so kind of like Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
What game are we talking about now?
It's still
Jesus. I'm not trying to dominate it. Fights. All right, let's move on from there. I've been playing a little bit of Tentacular or Tentacular. I think is what it's.
Tentacle?
Yeah, it's basically tentacular.
What?
How do you not say testicle? Like, how do you just not like
tentacular cancer?
But it's a VR game where you're basically Cthulhu building shit, and it's
oh, that's sick.
Yeah. There's a preview.
Do you have tentacles? Like,
yeah, no, that's what you're using. Is you're like building stuff.
Oh, that's
they throw
really cool.
You, and you have to sort of construct things. Very cool VR game, Quest WMR. But the other big game, and I think it's coming out next month, I think, is the Tentacle game. I just call it the Tentacle game because every time I read it with that extra ER, it always messes me up. But those are the kind of games I think work in VR really well, where you can just sort of, it's almost like Beat Saber, but with tentacles.
Oh,
and
nice.
and I dig that kind of stuff. I also dig games in VR that do a really good job with their physics, and this one does. Like, matching things, watching them fall and move.
I paid for that game in VR so I could play with you a little bit later. I think it was like it was a shooting game.
Contractors.
The Contractors, yeah. So I got that, and I have to download that, and we can.
Let's do it, dude. 11 hours, man. I'll tell you what, man. I've never had.
Holy shit,
dude. Yeah, I was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I did that 11-hour day when I got the Quest 2, and my back was so messed up because I refused to. Like, there'll be, you're supposed to squat, and I'm ducking, and after a while you get lazy. I start bending at the waist. And then about 8 or 9 hours of playing that, I have my multiple batteries plugged in. I unplug it, and I tried to sit down, and my back was like, nope, you're screwed. But it is such a good game. I lost like 15 pounds. As soon
as you said it, I told Kai, I said, he was like, what's the next game we're gonna get? Because we want to try every damn thing in VR, right?
VR is great,
especially
man.
You get a chance to play with your friends. That's the biggest game changer, I think. The fact, untether and then get the chance to play and hang out with friends and talk with friends and stuff. I think that's the biggest thing, because you don't in VR you feel isolated and alone.
Yeah.
But once you brought that game up, I was like, well, how about we get that game? ACG talked about it. Let's get that. And so we all agreed, and like I.
I think the thing about VR too is I just have to say, like, Reg has most of the headsets. I have every headset, I believe. They don't do a good job, other than the Quest, in merging people. Like, I don't like Facebook, right?
Right.
But it is very easy. Like, when you guys gave me your account names and stuff, it only takes a couple seconds. Boom, you're in there. You don't have to worry about Steam overlays. You're in there. And you can watch a movie together. You can do blah, blah, blah. I've done Dungeons and Dragons in VR chat before, where you just find some rooms that, correspond to places you want the characters to visit. There's the D&D game, that Demio.
Yeah.
There's all these really cool games, and VR, man, like, I can't wait to see what other companies do outside of Quest, because, like, I would like
PlayStation 2. I have a very high hopes for that thing. I mean, I know it's a $1,200
purchase.
Proposition, but if you got the PlayStation 5, and I know Red, you said Ginger said nah, he doesn't have it yet, because that's the gateway, right? That's the block right there, right? But once you get past that block, and then you actually get the headset and the controllers, and they're going to have really good games, like to push it, because it's dedicated for it. And I cannot wait to see what they do in this space with it, like an Astro bot with, I'm pretty sure that they will, have a packing game for it.
Yeah.
Because they did that packing game with the first one, and it was like, the driving and the shooting in London, and that was dope, and under the water stuff. It was a really good package. So I cannot wait to see what they do with it, and hopefully they have an easy way to hang out with your friends, watch Netflix. Batman just came out or something like that.
Dude, I think that's the thing, is that VR, Reg is big into he doesn't want to be tethered. Like, that's his plus for the Quest.
Yes, definitely. That's the reason I love the Quest 2 so much, because that little cable is all the difference to me.
And that's what's weird, is it's not to me, but I will also say it is a big deal. Like, even though I can deal with a cable, not having one is tremendous. And you can stream from your PC to it, which is mind-boggling, because we've talked about this. The bandwidth technically should not be high enough to give you a good picture on and they do it, and it works really well. And they just need one or two little iterations. And honest to God, man, I hate Facebook, but they made a lot of them in the Quest. The Quest is pretty simple, aside from the merging. I had issues with that. But once you get in there and start working around, it's pretty awesome. And these new games that are coming out, they're great, but it needs Sony. It does. It needs Half-Life tried it for the PC and they nailed it, but the PC is so scatterbrained and people are waiting for deals and there's certain price tags. I think a big company like Sony, if they nail it with a Horizon, which they showed, some stuff for Horizon, Forbidden West VR, I guess we'll just call it that. Some of their bigger games, I wouldn't want to play God of War. I'd puke my head off, I'm sure. I mean, can you imagine
the same FOV
with that vagina FOV where you're like, I feel like I'm being born, but I can't wait.
Or just Devil May Cry VR.
Yeah, no.
Love to see that.
Man, that makes my stomach get a little whirly just talking about it because I know how easy I would get sick in that. But dude, it's going to be great, man. Gran Turismo, throw Drive Club, Gran Turismo. Well, Drive Club's gone, but it's going to be exciting to see.
They did it, Drive Club.
They did Drive Club VR, but Drive Club the company is gone. The company that made they made Onrush, and then they were evaporated. Yeah, Sony sort of let them go, which is weird because I still believe Drive Club is one of the best looking games I've ever seen in my life.
Hell yeah. I still have it.
So do I. It's ridiculous. That game it is.
When they added the rain to it?
Yes. Dude, it's insane. I was showing my friend and he's like, what this, because I didn't tell him
it was PlayStation 5, right?
No, he thought that was a 3090 playing that game. Even though it was 30 FPS, he was still like the rain and they've done that the correct muted colors of Overcast, which is really hard to do.
Yes.
They nailed it. And Sony, they did one other game
what was the first game that they did that got them in there, and that was on the PlayStation 3. It's you had the trucks, the motorcycles, the dirt bikes. They did that game first.
It's not Gotham Racer.
Gotham had no.
This was on PlayStation?
Yeah, it was on PlayStation. Remember, it was a launch title as well. And that's
MotorStorm?
Yes, MotorStorm. They did MotorStorm.
Oh, did
they? And remember they nailed the lighting there too. Yeah. So when that game came over, when they did this game, oh yes, I was like, I thought Sony was going to buy them.
Yeah, so did I. That's honestly that's where I was going with this. Is I had actually assumed there was going to be a purchase there.
And then wow.
Moving on there and looking at the various different topics we have.
I didn't get. Are you
going to say indie game?
No, notice
small
game.
Yeah. Okay, I was assuming it was going to be the indie game. I apologize. Go for it.
No, but I mean, I'm still months later on and off playing Asterix and Obelix, Slap Them All, which is a 2D beat 'em up, very small game, very simplistic, but
based on the Vikings, right? Isn't that the Viking one?
No, it's based on the comic, like the French comic,
the French one,
Asterix.
Asterix and Obelix.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to a roller coaster place for that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have a theme park in France. I mean, just the property is very sort of close to me from a childhood perspective, and just the art style, very fun, very simplistic gameplay, but still fun and rewarding all the same. Like if you're looking for like a 2D simple beat 'em up, definitely recommend. It is on the pricier side, but you might be able to pick it up on a sale or something.
I remember playing it like a long time ago. I think with Cleopatra or something in it. I don't really remember clearly.
I mean, it's very similar to the old Konami arcade game that was in arcades back in the 90s that I played ceaselessly as a kid. Put in way too many coins for. But it's a more spruced up version. Plays like a more spruced up version of that game essentially.
Yeah, I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, it was our indie game week of the week back in December.
I've heard of it from you, but it
was like that slim dude and that fat dude.
So but are they the Vikings?
They're
not Vikings.
What's
they're
the comic
Gauls.
where they're two Vikings with horned helmets.
Asterix has a horned helmet, but he's not a Viking.
Oh, okay. I'm sure I'm talking about the same thing then. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very
Or
cool.
no, he has a winged helmet. Sorry,
Winged
not
helmet?
horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
this
think
is a
Obelix has
2D,
tiny
Streets of
horns on
Rage
it.
kind of thing, or is it more like Metal Gear? Like, is it?
It's
full
a
flat
2D Streets of Rage kind of thing.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right.
You
And
move up and down.
When you said it was expensive, what did you mean?
I think it's $40.
Yeah, I figured he'd say 40.
Whoa. You know, we've got a couple topics that I want to move on to for sure, but I do want to say like $40 is becoming the. I don't know, man. I'm seeing some games where $40 seems like it's asking a lot. And
sorry, it's 25. No, 29.
Okay,
29.99. No, 29.99. Yeah.
But recently, when I've been reviewing some games and they've been at $40, and I'm like looking at what you get, Shadow Warrior is where I'm coming from. But Shadow Warrior, I really thought the platforming was fun, the battles were fun, and then I was done, and it was like, done? Is this like really
nothing
the
extra?
End? Yeah, and they were still asking that. I don't consider 40 a premium. I don't think anybody does, but it was still. That's a lot for 3.5, 4 hours.
Too much buck for your bang.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah. I think that price tag is going to become more problematic. I was originally thinking that was a great price tag, but I'm starting to see the smaller companies.
Oh, it's $50. Shadow Warrior 3.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I think it's 40 on like PC, 50 on PlayStation, or maybe it's reversed.
Okay. PlayStation just likes to add $10 to
but
everything.
Admittedly, it also looks great, and it
looks really
it's
nice.
fun to play. But it's tight and it's super short, and that sounds dirty.
You gotta love the Wang, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I did. Titled the review was God of Wang, because it does have God of War feel to it, where it's like really visceral. It's really in your face. It's really it's God of War isn't fast, but it's very fast, so that feels like Doom, but it's just done, man. It's just done. And I'm like, admittedly, this was, I think, a random announcement that this game was even coming. A little bit like Siberian Mayhem for Serious Sam, but Serious Sam was longer, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Serious Sam was a good deal longer. So I don't know. $40 seems like it's a little bit disturbing as a price these days. It feels like we're getting into more of a problem.
Especially when you have like
Game Pass.
games of service, Game Pass. You put it inside a service. I don't know. I'm spoiled. I'm a little bit more frugal with my dollar, and it has to boil down to I know it's for sure not coming. The Game Pass.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Or at some point to where you want to play it really bad now, and if it comes in a year, it'll be different than tomorrow.
Is Elix 2 also in that price range?
Yeah, Elix 2 is like 49 or 59.
Okay.
The thing about Elix 2, I don't know if anybody besides me owns it.
I haven't bought it yet.
Reg bought it, but he's not.
Yeah, Reg buys everything.
He's like, it's coming out.
Dude, it's janky, it's Euro jank, it's everything that you probably expect Elix to be. But the reason why it hasn't grabbed me is because when Elix came out, it felt like it fit in its time frame as a unique thing that nobody else was doing. Now there's a lot of Euro jank games, and now there's a lot of these kind of games, and Elix came out, and it's got jetpacks. Like I always say, man, if you put jetpacks in your game, I'm going to give you 10 extra points. I fucking love jetpacks. But it just doesn't, it feels like it's 10 years old. It feels like Elix 1 as an expansion.
So they didn't really improve much.
Not much. Like the
okay.
I didn't have performance problems. I heard somebody else did, but that's PC for you. But I didn't have performance problems. It just didn't look even janky for today. It looked janky for 10 years.
Okay, I know what you mean.
I mean, also because not just are there more Eurojank games, but the quality bar for them has been raised as well, right?
Considerably, yeah.
Like you have a game like Greedfall, right?
Greedfall. I was gonna bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you not like Greedfall, King?
It's all right.
Well, I'll tell you what. No one's going to argue that it wasn't jank. That's the thing about Greedfall.
Oh yeah, you could see the budget stuff, like seeing the same enemies and shit, just like plop standing there waiting for you.
But I'll say that Greedfall makes Elix 2 look like Elix 0.
Wow.
That's how big of a goal. And I liked Elix too, a lot of what was going on. It's just, it doesn't feel right anymore. It doesn't feel like it stepped forward to even where it should be to call Eurojank now. It's still a couple years.
Some of the characters in your review were just actually nightmare fuel.
Dude, it's like Aloy, that's what I call her, but your wife, she looks just like Aloy. I'm telling you right now, it has to be her. So she shows up and she's like banging, man. She's like, hey, she's got a glow up. You know, she comes in and you're like, damn, how you doing? And then everybody else is all wandering into the camera and they're like, my name is
the others.
Zed.
Yeah,
and
they got the intern treatment.
Yeah, you got the substitute teacher shows up and everybody knows that you can fucking get away with whatever you want. That's all the other characters in the game. And you get a character, my God, you get a character who's a cyborg. Here's the thing about cyborgs as like side characters. You can still make them enjoyable. We all played Knights of the Old Republic, you know, AK-40, or what was his name? 47, the computer, the cyborg assassin killer. He was awesome. But you get an assassin android friend and he's like, that is incorrect. That is not right. And you're just like, wow, that's just me saying those words. Like there's no attempt at all. But it's Piranha Bytes. You got right. I mean
even the protagonist looks way weirder. I don't know. It's just Jax? When I saw it, when I saw it, I was like, wait, why does he looks very different.
Dude,
weird.
Jax
like faces look weird.
So fucked up that in the cutscene he walks into a house with windows bashed in and locks the door. I'm like, dude, we ain't there, man. Like, at some point, you got to look at that and be like, we got a problem that's bigger than that door being locked. And then he goes upstairs. He brings a dead animal in, drops it on his floor, goes upstairs, looks at a picture of his kid, and lays down in a dirty bed.
That's so far at the beginning that even I saw that.
Yeah, so, dude, it's rough. It's rough. So moving on from there, I did want to talk about GT7. So, King, I heard you mention it, but I didn't know do you have it?
No. That was the game that was supposed to blow the dust off of my PlayStation 5. Okay. Right? So, I saw the trailers, I saw the vertical slice, and when you're watching it, in your heart, you're like, it's not gonna look like that. Right. But I hope it does.
Right.
Okay. Then I saw right before they dropped the game, because I had to bend the knee to that game. I thought it wasn't going to release. In the same time frame as Horizon.
Right.
I said they're not going to drop it that close. I was wrong because they were dropping it to counteract whatever result happens with Elden Ring. So if Elden Ring would have sucked, and Horizon would have, had the one up on it, then fine. And you still have, the Gran Turismo crowd that was going to get it. I think, to get the money for the quarters, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I had to make a choice out of Gran Turismo and Horizon, and I said, you know what? I'm going to bet my money on that Gran Turismo because that's their bread and butter. I'm going to go in on that. I found out that the cars weren't really up to date. That threw me back. I don't need a car that's not older than the car that I'm driving. All right, I'm sorry. Because that means I won't have I'm a weirdo like that. I will go get the car that I have and get it in the game just to look over it, just to see if it's my car, right? You understand? Right. So, okay. That's my car's not there, so can't do it. And then I noticed that ray tracing was only in picture mode.
Yeah.
This is not what you advertise, right? This, okay, I can overlook that part. Right before I'm on the line, the game comes out. So I said, this is a game that I'm going to wait for the reviews. The day that the game comes out, that's when the microtransactions go live.
Yeah.
After everybody's reviewed the game and they had no idea that the microtransactions was going to be what it is.
It's so stupid.
Dude, and what's weird is they didn't have to do it. And that's why, I was like, well, I'll do a review in progress because first of all, I knew when the codes came out. And I'm like, if anybody is saying that they fully reviewed this, it's possible, but they would have had to have stayed up. I would almost all night, multiple nights. But I was like, okay, I'll do a review in progress. And I thought I actually was playing the game assuming double the cost of a normal microtransaction. Meaning, when I was reviewing the game, I was like, if they do double the cost that I expect from a Forza or from blah, 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 will I be okay? And I was like, probably. I was looking at the races, what I was getting, hard versus easy, blah, blah, blah. And then I woke up, they launched that thing, and I was like, now, first of all, people are going to be like, you don't have to get it. I get that. Absolutely. But the difference between a microtransaction that you don't have to get and not being an issue, and the microtransaction you don't have to get and being an issue, is if the grind is there. Right. And the grind is there, and it's only about halfway to 3/4 of the way through that you really start noticing that grind. And it's very high. There's a lot of grind required in that game. So
microtransactions are always a
game. Like, it's so weird.
They're what?
To be able to have to grind in a racing game, it's just weird to me. To have to grind to get a car in a racing game, it's just, I don't know. It shouldn't be about that, I don't think.
Well, dude, and this game sends you to, like, you know how they've always been really highfalutin pinky up in their racing. Yeah. And you go to like a winery, you open a menu, and it's like, would you like the next 3 cars? And you're like, all right, whatever. But then the game has unskippable cutscenes, and you'll be like, Duke. And then it's like, let me show you 5 minutes of racing cars. And you're just like, oh my God, I just want to play. And then you go, and the ray tracing's really weird. I didn't mind it not being, I think the game looks good, but I would have liked it in the racing. And so the idea that it's only in like this mode or this mode, same thing that Forza's pulled off in prior games with some things being in some. So I get it. I certainly hold both of them accountable. But the microtransactions, they're bad. I mean, they're rough in that game. That's probably one of the highest. Like, dude, did you guys see that one car is $40?
Yep.
And there's multiple cars that are 40. So it's just, that's like
crazy.
You could easily buy the price of that game in 2 cars. And not great cars, by the way.
That's not for those $70 premium, price game. I mean, free to play model, cool. You can live with it if it's a free to play model. This is not a free to play model.
Yeah,
they're using the free to play model in a premium tier game. That's where I have a problem with it.
And it's not usual Sony. I will say this: they weren't hiding micros. They were like, they will be there. The store isn't live, which I checked. They weren't like. Sony's pretty good about that, but this time seeing those prices was like pretty jarring.
Like a slap in the face.
Yeah. Well, as I told another PR person recently, I was like, well, you're going to notice me saying review in progress a lot of times now. Especially that was one of the things I thought of last year, as I was like, I'm just going to start saying review in progress and then give a reason, microtransactions, or blah blah blah. And some don't look like they have stores and add stores. There's been games that have had no store icon in the menu, and then the game comes out and there's a store icon suddenly. And a lot of times you can tell. Yeah. Rage 2, I could tell. No one brought it up in reviews, but I'm like, I did, because I'm like, it's right there. You can tell there's a blank spot. They're going to put microtransactions. They did right away. But GT didn't need them. And they didn't do a car pass, They didn't do anything to really reach out to the fans. It's almost like they know they're selling it to the hoity-toity crowd that's okay with paying $40 for a car. And $40 for a digital car is like...
That's ridiculous.
Brutal. Yeah, it's nuts.
That's ridiculous.
So is anybody getting GT after I just sat there and talked about the microtransactions? Anybody? Okay.
With Forza, like Forza as a franchise and as Horizon as well, like I haven't played a GT game since like GT4. It was like there was a clear, like, I was like, wow, this is really good. Both just the motorsport and even with Horizon 5, like it just pops off. And the fact that now it's also all included in Game Pass, the question is like, it's the same question I said about like Halo Infinite. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to play it. But the question is that what's it going to do that's going to have me spend my time at Destiny? It's like when it comes down to it,
what's
it's
going
like,
to pull you away from?
Why would I leave Horizon? Why would I leave and go and actually invest in that as an ecosystem, especially in terms of microtransactions? Because while I don't personally spend money on microtransactions, I don't actually have like a philosophical problem with them, because it all boils down to trust, right? Like I like Lost Ark. Y'all brought that up earlier. I've seen Chad actually talking about like Lost Ark. And one of the things that was the most entertaining for me to watch the internet just kind of implode slightly was the Lost Ark is pay to win. And then the response was, we don't give a shit. The game's good. It's like,
they started having new definitions for pay to win.
And then everybody has to start like trying to like, well, yeah, I know I'm against microtransactions, but no, it's like the real thing you're seeing out playing psychologically is that good game armor, you like game, you will be happy to support game. In fact, I see it I see gamers do this all the time. They're like, I can't, like, I spent $1,000 on this game, and you champion it, you promote it because you love it. But then the question is like, what is really that microtransaction doing? And when you sit here and say like $40 for a car, like no one's like, it's same thing in Final Fantasy 14. There's a cash shop, but those mounts aren't like champion. You're like, you want to support the game extra? Go for it. Not necessarily
that bike
hard.
is that bike though. You need that bike.
And I legitimate that bike becomes that. Well, I got it because I went to the like fan fest, which they gave the bike out, or you can buy it. That bike actually gives you an advantage, and it's the same thing. You see that friction in that community. Like no, I love 14, but I'm also against microtransactions. Like you just can't you see gamers like legitimately. So there was like a meta on YouTube for at least 2 weeks with Lost Ark. It was all like, it's pay to win, but I don't care. But it's pay to win, it's bad. And it's like, it's still crushing 600,000 concurrent. Like the game's a good game. Spend money if you want to spend money. Don't spend money if you want to spend money. If you are below 18, becomes a whole different conversation for me. That's where I talk to parents. I'm like, hey, stop hooking your credit card up to these slot machines. You're an adult. Then we got it. Like then it's like, dude, a fool in his money, easily parted. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right. Yeah, I started. No, I just started with like Lost Ark coming out. I started seeing a lot of people change kind of what pay to win is, kind of the definition. Because before pay to win was like, okay, it's like you pay to get direct advantages in a game. And then now they changed it to no, it's direct advantages over other players only in PvP.
Right, because they're abused spouses at the fucking 12-step program saying he loves me, he hits me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, but like it just decide what it is. And I think Brian was right. It's just like, what are you getting out of it? Well, if you're getting whatever out of it, then maybe don't have an issue with microtransactions anymore. Just be like,
at least be consistent. Exactly. Like, that's all I ask. Consistency.
I don't have a problem with microtransactions if, and this is my caveat, if the game is free to play. Like if I'm playing Fortnite and these are cosmetic things, if I see Rick and Morty skin, you can't stop me.
No shit, me too. I didn't know you were a Rick and Morty fan, bro.
I'm a huge Rick and Morty fan. You cannot stop me because I saw some guy running around with it, and I said I'm going to log in every day until it's in the daily so I can buy it. And then the Star Wars Boba Fett. Okay, well I'm all in. But again, I'm having fun in your game. I didn't pay anything for said game, right? So there comes okay, you know what? I gotta throw him some bucks.
There's goodwill.
Yeah, I got it, because you're doing such a phenomenal job. I gotta throw you some bucks. But if I paid $70 for your game, all right, now you're the only
you're throwing me a bone at that point.
$10 more than the next dude. First of all, I'm already mad going to the counter because there's tax on top of this. Okay, so we're at $76.50 right here, and I have that face. And then you're going to tell me while I'm playing your game that I got to go to the shop and I got to pay real life cash? No. Like, when is enough for you? You could have said, okay, you know what? We're going to put this game out free to play, and then we're going to have the same prices for these microtransactions. Same prices. I don't care. If your game is that good, it's going to sell itself. That's going to happen. You're going to get that money. That $70 is nothing. Could you imagine what they would have did if they would have said Gran Turismo is free to play inside
I agree.
in PlayStation now?
I agree. It's like Sea of Thieves had nothing when it released. Nothing. There was no content in that game. It was ridiculous. But they've added a shit ton of content. They have a bunch of stuff people like, and it's doing gangbusters. But I wanted to get Reg's point because he's played 3,500 billion hours in this game.
Dude, I'm still in the what's it? The welcome quest line.
What the fuck? You're still in like the intro.
Okay, so but you have like you what? I don't even understand that. I need to understand. Is it that long, or are you just Are you just like dicking around?
No, the grind is stretching things always out.
Okay, yeah. So, but you've bought some stuff.
I bought the Founders Pack. Yeah,
bought the Founders Pack, which gave you a couple days early, right? I believe you got the
and some cosmetics that luckily I didn't claim. Because by now in the in-game market they are currently worth $700.
So he listen to this. NFTs are not in this game. Here's where Reg and I wanted to go with this, because we've talked about this before. Games have had the ability to sell your in-game stuff since far before these cheap bastards are trying to get you to buy NFTs. Right. Reg bought the Founders Pack, which gave him items which he did not claim and he can sell on the store, and now they are worth $700.
Yes.
That
of course,
without
700,
NFTs.
like $700 worth of in-game currency.
Of
I was
in-game.
gonna say
getting-
because you can't
okay.
sell them
That's
for
Right.
real
not
money.
officially
Right.
anyway. You would be a gold
Well, I
seller
mean,
then, and they could
technically,
ban you.
Technically,
Yeah,
though, like
something.
these publishers don't need NFTs to do what they're saying that
No, they don't.
NFTs could do. It's like they could let you just cash that out, etc. And then take a cut. But NFTs is essentially there's a buzzword, but there's some technology behind it that's really actually
Well, I mean,
interesting.
Also, at the point where they
whole
allow you to
setup
cash
in
out,
there.
it becomes gambling potentially.
Yeah.
Well, and
But
that's
the
where
whole
you get into
sense-
various countries' laws and so much more. That's why you see Lost Ark actually not certainly in certain countries because of those countries' different regulations.
Oh, gotcha. What,
Yeah.
Reg?
The setup in the player market is very NFT adjacent as well, because there's for example items that you drop that you then can sell or auction, and only a limited time. So you have an item that you can be sold 3 times only, and every time it's being sold, it steps down once, and now it can only be sold 2 times.
What the fuck?
Mm.
So
That's exactly.
I've never heard of this.
what I
So you're
said.
saying
The
you
little voice in my head said the same thing.
Yeah, so are you saying you're picking up armor off the ground maybe from a kill?
Yeah, for example, let's say you do a dungeon, you get a random drop, it's
Uh-huh.
some legendary item.
Okay.
That legendary item might say can be sold 1 time. So you can sell it once in the player market. Or it could be straight up bound to your character and you can't sell it at all. So depending on what item you get, it's either only for your character, you can maybe use it on your roster, so on all characters for your account, or you can sell it in the player market, but only potentially a limited number of times. For example, like say skill books, you can only, I believe, sell once. So if you get a drop for a skill book, it can only be sold on the player market 1 time.
Wow.
Whoever buys it then just can use it themselves.
I've never in my so I do some MMOs, but obviously mine have never had that. Is there other MMOs that have ever done a limited sale on an item that dropped?
I don't know any. At least for the skill books, I think, well, my imagination for that is, I don't know the reason behind that, but my imagination would be, you see in many games with a player market that people try to dominate the market by buying up shit and then immediately reselling it.
Right.
Like
With
fucking
a system
material.
like that, you can't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. I mean, even I did that.
Hell yeah.
That's
Oh, I did it in Final Fantasy a lot.
So in Final Fantasy, which one's the online one? 14?
14 and
14
11.
and 11. Yeah.
Yeah.
there's two of
14
them.
and 11. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, 14, the good one. Is Final Fantasy 14? Sorry, is Final Fantasy 14
Names.
the
Yeah.
less bad one? Is Final Fantasy 14 got anything like this? Do they limit sales, or and do
on
they
certain
stop
items, but
and you
but-
can't sell them for real, right? Obviously, you can't sell them
Correct.
for real money, but you
Right.
could,
people do.
right?
Yeah.
You can do that.
You
Like
always
you
can.
just you have items you can't sell at all in the marketplace,
Yeah.
but you also have items you can sell on the marketplace.
But not the
Um,
counter thing, like you can sell it, 2 times.
Oh, you can
There's
sell
none
as
of
much
that.
as you want. Yeah, you can.
Never heard
Right.
of this.
You
I've
either
never-
can
it's-
sell it or not.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, also, there's another system in there. It's a game full of systems and
it
thousands
is a
of
game
currencies.
full of systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 2 different player markets. Like there's a player market where you can put in certain items straight up for a price. You say how much you want and you try to sell it. And there's an auction house. Other kinds of items, like say ability stones, you can only sell on the auction house. And there you can set a starting auction price or a flat out sale price. A number of days, how long the auction is running, and then people can
eBay.
bid on it.
Like eBay.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
like
It's
eBay.
eBay.
Yeah,
But what is that?
basically
Bid
eBay,
now
yeah.
or buy now or bid or whatever they do.
Yeah.
I've never
Fucking
been involved in a
scalpers.
bid. Yeah.
Also, the marketplace takes 5% cut of every sale.
eBay.
So, yeah.
Wait, but they're taking 5% of a
Of
fake
the
non.
golds that people are selling.
Right.
What are they doing with that? And that's
By using
they're
it for
just
in-game
removing it
stuff.
from the game. It's just a
Oh, yeah.
gold
Yeah,
system, I
they
guess.
do that with even Final Fantasy, even with WoW. There's
Yeah.
always like a percentage where
Tax.
you just your money
But
goes
see,
away.
It's called a
the
money
thing with
sink. It's
that is-
pull that out of the economy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
People are spending real life money on these things.
Yeah.
All right. And there's ways around that. Right. So yeah, I paid a farmer to do some stuff for me, and that's when I had to get out of World of Warcraft. You
Yeah,
know,
when you're paying somebody to play a game
real
for you.
life money now.
Oh, that's. I mean, you can straight up in this game straight up buy gold. That
Right.
it is
Yeah,
a
that's
game
it.
system. But you also have gold sellers anyway. Still,
Yep.
like
Oh, yeah.
they constantly spam in chat because they're undercutting the market prices by quite a bit.
Right. I got that. I got that gold.
Here's the
For
thing
that
I gotta
low
say,
low.
if it sounds like I'm dissing on this game, I'm not. It's free to play game, and it's fantastic, and it's one of a kind because most games aren't going to have this much content and then be translated over to English. That's the only reason we're seeing this.
I was watching some videos from people who played the Korean version, which is a couple of years ahead of ours, and there's way more content than the Western release has. And the funny thing, one sentence that stuck with me was, if you find all the arcs, or if you find the 7 arcs that you're looking for, and I'm currently at 6 out of 7, so I'm still missing one, then you have finished the first 50% of the first act of the game.
Oh my God. Oh,
it's a big game. It's a massive game. In fact,
I wouldn't say big. I would say massive. Yeah.
Just in terms of like, if you're just studying, like, how do you launch an MMO? The answer is you launch it somewhere else for 3 years.
No,
you let them figure it all out. You let them
Dude,
like
that's
work out any of the
exactly
bugs,
right. This is
and then
a
you
one
bring
of
it
a
worldwide.
kind. It's a one of a kind. It's why a lot of MMOs, people be like, "There's no end game." In this game, people are like, "I haven't got to the end game to tell you if there's no end game because it's that big." And
there's a massive end game.
Here's the problem, though, guys. The big problem is going to be this: competition is going to be rated against, because a gamer. I don't care if a gamer knows history. I don't. I will tell you history. But if a gamer doesn't know the history of this, and the next other game that's a competitor to Lost Ark shows up and tries the old style, people will be like, why would I ever do this? Because Lost Ark has and so that's the one thing I wonder how other competitors who come, yes, we all want them to have to deliver more. That makes sense. We want them to, but you also have to look at Lost Ark as an outlier. That thing is like an insane outlier. It's the way we all want games to arrive, but it's probably not what's going to happen with your next couple MMOs.
Also,
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Just straight up, much of the gameplay length in that game is just straight up grind.
Oh, I know.
There's no sugar.
But it's fun grind. See, okay,
it's fun.
If the grind is fun, it is gameplay, and versus I consider grind heavy. I don't know any other way to. I start to feel
game,
heavy.
It varies. Because there is.
But you seem pretty happy most of the time.
Most of the time, exactly. I'm currently at the point where it's.
He only hits me on Sundays.
Because the upgrade system, it kind of sucks. Or the higher you get, the more it sucks. There's a chance if your upgrade succeeds or not.
Right. Oh, that shit.
Yes,
yeah, dude.
And it's gnarly. It goes down, right, Rich?
So you do your dailies. You get your upgrade items. You can do the whatever. You get your upgrade items, and with the amount of items you get from your dailies, you can like attempt 2 upgrades. I would say, roundabout. But the higher you get in your item level, the less likely you are to succeed. So I'm currently at tier 2, item level, I think 13, and my chance of hitting the next upgrade is at around 60% right now. So the chance of me doing my dailies and hitting the upgrade button and actually getting nothing is pretty high. And it only gets worse and worse.
Hell no.
So in tier 3, I've seen the videos of tier 3, the higher up you get to item upgrade chances of 1%.
No.
I've seen that shit. Yeah.
No, that's not cool. I mean, it's free to play, but that's not cool.
You're not gonna.
That's in a lot of Korean.
You have the people
who
are playing that nonstop, like who are actually just streaming it all the time, who are full on Lost Ark players, who say, well, if you're in tier 3, you get like used to hitting the upgrade 300 times before you succeed once.
But here's the thing, though, like no one's putting a gun to anybody's head and having that, like, it's telling you the odds in that regard, so you know exactly like what you're getting into,
right?
But come on, dice. There's other games out there, right? Like,
no, there are.
But I mean,
there are. But
don't play this.
Here's
one.
the thing. I'll one up you. You just said there's other games out there, right?
Yeah.
If I was a developer, I wouldn't want you playing those other games.
Right.
So the 1%,
that's changing though. That's changing culturally. Yeah, go ahead.
But I'm saying the 1%, that would push me away. If you even said 10% of a chance, I would have a much better reaction than 1%. Dude, even I can do math that basic.
Like
Anything
Destiny's
single
RNG,
digits.
boy.
Yeah, Destiny's RNG kind of stuff. That kind of stuff bounces me from a game. All I'm saying is that if you get that far, you're probably immune to this issue.
Yeah, like if you like the people
for me,
who are impacted,
I don't like the idea.
Right. Like that can definitely be a turnoff for people coming in. And that's where it's like one of the things that we're seeing a shift in MMO culture take in is the concept of taking breaks, going and playing other games.
For sure. Yeah.
Becoming seasonal as opposed to being like, this is the one game you're going to play forever. And that's been benefited because of the WoW's kind of like collapse every year that they have kind of another like, frustration bunch of players. But like WoW's not gone by any means. Like it's still an incredible powerhouse, but what we're seeing is that we're actually seeing kind of players actually go ahead and experiencing multiple games in terms of seasons. So if that 1% thing was like, that's it, I'm done. Well, guess what? In a year's time, there's more content. Some of that stuff's been reworked.
Unless you're Destiny, where they throw away their content and they hide it in the crypt.
Oh, dude, yeah. Them deleting
sorry,
the content
I had to bring it up,
but
I'm telling you right now, newcomers. Sorry, I won't.
No,
I won't. Let Reg go for a second, and then let Silver go. Go ahead, Reg. What are you gonna add?
So for coming back again to the game, we've seen in the Korean version, at least from the videos I've watched, that they add more and more like comeback mechanics. So if you like quit for it for now because you say, okay, the chance is just ridiculous, I'm not gonna grind for that, and you come back, let's say a year later, and they added 5 new Guardian raids or whatever, then the chances are getting increased. So in Korea, I think they are like 40% higher than for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair. Silver.
Yeah, no, I just want to push back a little bit on the idea of a fool is easily parted with his money, which is true. And certainly personal responsibility does factor in. But it still stands to reason that a lot of these, particularly monetization policies and a lot of these sort of grind elements are engineered to be sort of predatory or exploitative.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Well, I mean, it's turned on day one after reviews.
Nobody's sitting here from like, if I'm sitting here like running a team, or if I'm doing the work, like no one's paying the salary to say, let's make less money. Like, no, they know us better than we know ourselves. And then the question is that like, are they being upfront about it? Because when it comes down to it, like, let's say the monetization system changed, like Destiny's got the most changes in terms of its monetization than any game that I'm aware of. And that's where I get frustrated. But if I go into a game knowing here's what it is, here's what it's going to ask for me, and then I know that, then essentially, like, if I'm then pissed off about it, like I go to a buffet and they say, we've got mediocre food. And then I'm like, where's the freaking, like filet, steak, all that. It's like, no, you went in with like, we said what we were, you didn't understand that. And maybe there's a marketing problem there, but when it's the companies that they change that, Silver, like that's where I get mad. But it's like, if they're gonna be like, this is what it is, then I'm like, okay, am I okay with that? And then if I choose to make that decision, then I can only look at myself in the mirror and be like, that was me. That's just my thought.
No, I mean, I think that's understandable, and I think it's reasonable. I just think there's also more to it than that, because there's a lot of stuff that also ties into like your psychology and stuff that you don't necessarily have a control over yourself.
Oh yeah, like I think that there's a big risk. So like I usually focus that conversation obviously on like kids in that regards. Like a human brain doesn't really fully form until they're 25, but like when it comes down to it, who can I have the best 25? Who can I have the best impact on? And it's in my position, it's other parents with young kids. It's like, so it's like, hey, listen, don't hook your credit card up to these games. Let's not set up this. And that's one of the things within gaming culture that I haven't seen addressed too much, is that while we're all adults and ideally we make bad decisions, everybody has, but like when it comes down to it, like I'm responsible for me. But the thing is that the generation that's already replacing us in terms of monetization, that's what they've been trained up on. Like you go to somebody like that's 18 and under, or hell, now probably even like 25 and under. And it's like, you want me to pay up front for your game? Like, are you freaking crazy? Why would I do something like that? Because that's not what these games, have asked of me this entire time. And so I see a cultural shift that's generational. And that's why I think the best way to go about it is to hit the parents so that they know what they're doing, because the slot machine mentality, Like just this instant gratification mentality of spending the money on a game has me as a parent incredibly concerned. But you as a 30-year-old, 40-year-old adult, I can't help you. Like I know that about life. I can't control your spending, nor do you want me to. Nobody wants me in charge of their wallet.
Mike
Yeah,
Oxlong,
and
$5 super chat. I just want to read super chats.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
$5 super chat. Thank you for the super chats. Go ahead. I'll read the others. And then I want Johnny to speak up because Johnny's played all these games. Want to know what he's spent. Go ahead, Silver. You go and then
Yeah,
Johnny can go.
it's just no, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Go to Johnny.
I
It's fine.
apologize. Go ahead, Johnny.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, so what I spend money on is skins and stuff like that. So for example, League of Legends or Dota 2.
More skin,
you know,
better the skin.
Well, the thing is, like, I put a lot of time into those games. I got a ton of value for free, right?
Right.
Because like those games are
Absolutely.
free.
Yep.
So that's always the way I frame the conversation, is that those games generate goodwill because they're good.
Yeah.
For you, like, obviously it's my opinion, right? But like, you get a lot of value first, and then you have this goodwill that you want to give back. I think that's the right way around. Whereas you see the some devs put the cart before the horse, so to speak, sometimes, and they're asking of you an awful amount of goodwill, like in GT7, for example, before they generate it naturally in that way. So it's like they want their cake and eat it too, or however that saying goes.
You hit
right?
it.
So yeah. So that's my whole thing. But I think you hit the nail on the head with, like, if the moment to moment is enjoyable, whether it's grindy or not, you know, that's a discussion, I guess. But you're having fun, right? Like that's and grindy games can be fun for sure. Like Monster Hunter World. Tell me that when you get to the end game and you're trying to get decorations and stuff, tell me it's not a massive grind. Like
and it's
all
I love the game.
Though. That's the thing about Monster Hunter, where people are like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that game is so grindy." I'm like, "Wait, but I'm just doing boss fights and killing big monsters."
No,
and
but I love the game as well, right?
Right,
So
right.
that's
But to me, like grind is like you're literally AFK, just like hitting like random mobs, trying to get like some items or something. You know, just that's how I relate it to it. You know. But when it gets to like boss fights and like engaging stuff, I don't really consider it
because
grind.
you're killing them too, right?
Yeah,
Because I think if
you're
you
like,
were going against bosses and dying all the time, which there is also different kinds of grind too, like different types of
for
raids where they're like, you're barely gonna have a chance of killing this guy. That would probably be unfun your 55th time. But if you are waylaying them and you're like, oh, I didn't get the special socks of Sockanine +1, I got to do it again, it's probably not as bad as long as the game, moment to moment is enjoyable. But I wanted to ask, because I know a couple of you guys do Destiny, but I know King is huge.
Sorry, I also remembered. Just sorry to interrupt. I remembered what I'm the most pissed off. Well, one of the things I'm most pissed off about with monetization is currency packs and the way they're structured.
It's because it's bullshit.
Yeah,
it's just
like
get you to diverse the understanding of what you're expending.
Exactly.
because you never get enough. Also, like you always get
dude.
Okay.
So that you're always missing those 5 or 10 coins or whatever that you need to buy.
You should see GTAs. Yeah. They're fucking. It requires you to buy 2. It requires you to go a bunch to get down to the 1, and they don't have a $1 million. If they had 1 million credits, you'd be able to get the car. Guess what? They don't. 2 million. You're like, fuck you pieces of shit.
Yep.
That is such psychological bullshit.
So you have leftover currency inside your online wallet. Destiny does that perfectly.
Yep. I want to hear what Reg is saying, then I want to ask King a question about Destiny. Go ahead, Reg.
I mean, I can just add from Lost Ark again. That, of course, has that in
oh, does it?
Like, in all levels,
4
all layers. It has all the mechanics. It just puts in everything it can. And it went so far that I just made a spreadsheet. Like, I have a spreadsheet to calculate the actual value of
You have a spreadsheet for the game? You mean like a Google spreadsheet? Oh, wow.
Yes. Where I put in like what it says in gems and what actual cost that is.
Yeah.
Okay, so King and Reg did Destiny a while ago, but I don't think you've returned, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so King, you're one of the group, right? You guys are always doing this. Okay, so how do you feel about vaulting and like losing single player content?
I think that's kind of it pisses me off because all right, so let's say Roderick's broadsword. I grinded to death for that thing. I did a ton of PvP stuff, and to get this this gun, and the fact that you sunset it, and you just it took away the whole value of it, and then you give me some random drop gun that's in the game that has actually the same exact stats of that gun, a blue gun. A blue gun. When you just start off, it pisses me off, but they've pissed me off so much that I'm desensitized. All right, like it's the same thing. Like if somebody calls you a name, first time you hear it is shocking.
Yeah.
Right, and by the 15th to 20th time you hear it, you're like, yeah, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
Like, like you just move on with it. It was funny the first time, it's not funny now, type of thing. And that's what Destiny is. So, every time a new DLC comes out, there's some new form of currency or how they're going to do it. Or, okay, they're going to still keep silver, but there's a new way and how they're going to get your money. You go to the shop and they have an actual shop. You're trying to figure out how they're going to get your money. And they tell you, you can earn all the stuff here, some form of fashion. But the grind in Destiny, it's like taking college courses, right? They changed it now. They now have this legendary mode and they have casual mode for people. They have and these tokens. But they made it so that if you're playing legendary mode, the more people you add to your party, the game scales to that level. So I'll jump inside my boy Monkey, How Monkey's Loving Party, and I'm trying to get him through the story. I'm a level 1550 plus. He's just starting. He's like, 1350. As soon as I come in, we're getting one-shotted by random enemies. So it scales up automatically to meet your level. And that's something new that they do right now. They have casual mode, but they have the legendary mode. So what they constantly keep that grind, constantly keep that going. Then you have grand master mode. If you're going to do these things where it locks your weapons. And then it forces you to purchase certain things like cosmetics. You want to look dope. I want to look dope.
Yeah.
If you see me here, I was actually all week long saying, what shirt am I going to wear on ACG?
Gotta look dope.
Right? So I'm looking and I said, okay, I'm not going to wear my normal chain. I'm going to wear my Game Pass chain, right? That Lord Cognito got me, right? So if you take that same mentality there, you know I must be some ridiculous monster inside Destiny that needs to have that new item or those new clothes that's there. They prey on me. Just like you said, you're a grown man. You can't tell me how to use my disposable income. I'm going to use my disposable income at my discretion. And the hell with you. Don't try to regulate me because I'm going to go harder, right?
Yeah.
Especially on something that you love.
I think there's an issue right now with MMOs and like expansions, and especially Destiny does it so blatantly. But when an expansion comes out in an MMO, usually it's not really an expansion. It's more of we're just going to focus on that one small region. For example, World of Warcraft. Yeah, it's like for World of Warcraft, when an expansion comes out, it doesn't add to the game. It just shifts to that one small region. So that whole other shit, everything you've been doing is just null. You know what I mean? Like all that old content is just nullified. And Destiny, it just ripped it out straight up, right? I think Final Fantasy 14, what I appreciated is when they added expansions, all the content was still relevant. You still went and traveled to like, everywhere on the map. Like the world literally just got bigger. So I don't, but we got so used to expansions being just, where the game moves. And now, okay, there's a new mechanic, there's a new currency. Everyone's going to start at that level and just play that small expansion. Whereas we've built all this content and it's just all nullified, which is not that cool. Yeah.
When it comes to Destiny's vaulting, I think that's a marketing term. I think we should call it what it is. It's called deleting, and it's only vaulted when it actually returns. And that's one of the things that like it does not sit well with me. And that's one of the things that like I love Destiny. I've been playing it for 7 years, played the beta. Like I get mad and I take a break, and when I come back, the gameplay is so good that it's like you kind of like, oh man, this feels so good. I'm so glad to be back. But it should be always known. It's that it needs to be the upfront, like in the buy wait for sale, kind of like the review aspect of like, listen, we got to talk about how they do this stuff because it's not good. However, everything else after this is incredible. But let's just make sure you're not getting caught off guard. You're like, oh yeah, because when Shadowkeep gets vaulted, like what are we going to see? And it's their attempt at having this living story, which means it's kind of like 3-year gap of FOMO. Like you got 3 years to get it done. I think it could be done much better, but I don't, from a technological perspective, I think they're got caught in a hard spot, especially with the shift from Activision, with the Destiny 1, Destiny 2, Destiny. This was Destiny, like, Beyond Light was Destiny 3. That was what they were originally planned was. And then now it's like, well, how do we bring it all in? And, like what's the console limitations in terms of hard drive space? I think there are some limitations, but I don't think it's something that should be celebrated, and it's not a vaulting system until they actually bring it back. And so that's their marketing term for it. It's hard to delete, and they're deleting paid content, which I'm guessing we've all agreed to that being okay as a part of the terms of service.
No, that's not cool. Let me ask you a question. Have you been, because you got the new one, right? You got the new DLC. Of course, you got the witch queen, right?
Dude, yeah, like as much as I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Swipe.
Yeah. I'm in there. Day one. Give me that.
Pull the band off.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Did you get one of your guns out of the vault and you're in a mission and you just like, yo, let me send that over to me? Got the Destiny app, send it. And you tried to raise the level of it, and it used the items, but it didn't raise the level of the gun, and the gun stayed at 1350.
I haven't run into that personally, and that's actually probably because I'm heavily taking a different approach to Destiny, because I tend to overconsume and burn out. And what I've decided to do is I'm not going to be sweaty. So it's
I'm super sweaty.
I like my Warlock. I'm like, all right, suck it, Titan and Hunters. Like I just not gonna. I like playing this. This is the gun I like. In an upgrade. So I'm not sitting here like trying to chase all the new shinies. I'm just like, I'm having fun. This is what I'm doing. People don't follow me necessarily for Destiny content. So I'm like, I'm not so worried about it. Like I'm playing, we'll do the raid. I'm going to talk about this game. And but like I haven't run into that specifically. And my vault needs serious work, because I went and looked at it and I was like, holy crap, I have not been paying attention to this. It's
yeah, exactly. I ran in there because I tried to get this bow. And it's called the Vow.
Oh,
you got it on one. You know that bow.
Yeah,
you got it on one Valentine's Day. The bow's dope, right? So I said I can use this bow, get some bow kills, and it's super dope. So I grabbed the bow out and I was like, yo, I'm almost ready. Hold on, let me upgrade this. Let me use this materials. It costs a hell of a lot of. Tried to upgrade it to 1550 and noticed that it didn't move, but it took my materials.
Right.
Yeah. Still stayed at 1350. And I said, are you freaking kidding me? This thing that I paid so much, because I paid for that DLC for that Valentine's Day, and that was the weapon to get, is now irrelevant. And I just shook my head.
That sucks.
So Reg,
it sucks. They got us.
When was the last time you played this, Reg?
When was the
last time you did Destiny?
Yeah, no. I got the question. I'm just thinking when the DLC dropped. I think 3 DLCs. Well, yeah, 3 expansions, side expansions ago.
Beyond Light.
So, did you have bugs like that?
No, but
okay.
Not a bug. Is intentional.
I'm also not that heavy.
Wait,
in the game.
Is it intentional? I'm
That's
sorry.
intentional.
It's called power capping. Yeah. They added this system called sunsetting, which they sunset the sunsetting system. They decided to that was a bad idea, which was a horrible idea.
Yep.
I remember people defending it. Like, this is great. I was like,
hell no,
this is bad. Like, give us things to chase. Don't
Let me tell you how bad it is. Bungie is coming up with fucking terms continually, these weird ass fucking terms, just so that they can explain their dickish way of handling their game. That bothers me.
Sunsetting.
Oh, this is the evening time. Oh, we're fucking capping this. You're not a 3-year-old
this is
with
our
an
beauty
emoji on a
Yeah.
fucking cell phone. That bothers me. That's the problem. Bungie, dude, I've had an issue with Destiny for so friggin' long, and most of it has to do with the deleting of content.
It is
all this
not,
kind
well,
of
it
stuff.
is all of their business decisions.
It's
really.
all of their business decisions. And the thing is, far be it from me to say that there's any game out there that looks better, because I personally believe Destiny's weapons are some of the coolest looking things I've ever seen in my life. Destiny's weapons, I actually wanted to pay somebody to make me a Nerf version of one of the guns. Like, it looked so cool. I'm like, I need this at my house so I can just look at it. Their stuff is so cool. But deleting single player content, deleting the stuff means anything you said about the game could be wrong. Like, if, for example, if I said, hey, my review's based on the 6-hour single player, blah, 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 blah. And then a year later, it's 4 hours because they removed something and they shifted all of their stuff. I get why they've done all this. And there's probably memory restrictions. Because, look, the 360 had Destiny. And I don't think that's updated anymore, right? The 360 version's probably unplayable. But it's just, I do not like their business decisions. And they're consistently coming up with terms to explain away all of the shit that they do. And what I'm worried about is another company coming along and dropping the term sunset. I'm literally nervous about it, because I know that other companies look at it and they think, hey, you know,
they got away with it.
We got to.
Well, Sony bought them, so maybe Sony Games will have.
Well, Sony Games are probably going to bundle that into whatever their online.
It sucks too, because these are Lost Ark and Destiny are both amazing games. Lost Ark I think has less of an issue. It's free to play. Well, Destiny is now free to play too.
It has.
Right?
It's
got that.
free to start. Like, it's free to taste. It's like a tasting.
Okay.
Yeah, vanilla Destiny's free to play, but where all the fun is at, your buddies in that DLC.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. It's just I don't want to end this podcast on a low note. So we'll talk about one
free
thing
cookies.
after this,
It also reminds me that Nintendo just shut down the store for the 3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're gonna come out with something else.
And they did so, and they did so, saying now you can still access your the games you already own on the 3DS. You can still download those for now.
Oh
yeah.
For now.
For now.
Well, dude,
it's almost like a villain.
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Elite Dangerous just now announced that they are completely stopping all console development. Now, I played that more on the console now than I have on the PC, because I was streaming it to my tablet and I was playing it and it was working amazing. That means no more content for the console. And they're like, oh, the reason why is this and this and this. I guess that's the digital age we're in, but it just feels like as it becomes more normal, they'll normalize this, and then they're going to normalize that. And I hate using the term normalize because it's such a pussy term. I hate it. But in a way, some of these terms are that is what's happening. People are getting accustomed to hearing them, and they're not going to have as strong of a reaction the next time a company says we're going to sunset something.
Right.
And it bothers the hell out of me, especially when Warframe is free. And that's sort of a competitor game. I think a lot of people would consider, I don't, but a lot of people would consider a competitor, and I don't know if they've ever sunsetted anything. So
no, but like Brian said, they've actually vaulted, so they bring him back at times.
Some
the
of
stuff
it,
they
right?
vault.
We have to wait.
Yeah.
Like that. We haven't seen, anything that's been vaulted truly come back, right? We don't have the Red War. We don't have those campaigns anymore.
Really?
They've been vaulted. And that's why I say, like, that's a marketing term that only means vaulting when we see it come back. And we haven't actually seen that other end of the promise. So it's a question of trust. Do you trust that they're going to make that decision? And honestly, like, with enough
trust
time,
they can sell it to you.
Oh,
I trust they
Red War
they sold us the Vault of Glass. I trust that they're going to bring back a raid that they vaulted and bring it back and change a couple of things to it and put a couple of items inside and sell it to you again. I trust that they will do that. Because at the same time, like I said, we have become desensitized to it.
Yeah.
We didn't walk away from it. We're still there day one, and they're like, and they can see this stuff.
They know the data.
He's been here. He's
they know that when, like, I'll eventually get frustrated and not play, and they know they'll give me back. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like, as much as I see, and like I have a massive love for gamer culture and gaming in general, but like when I just look at it as from an analytical perspective, your boycott means nothing to me, because your boycott means they're going to sell more games. Your stance and your anti-microtransactions and your rant only benefits the game. And I wish I could communicate that seed. I wish I could communicate like your angry rant on Reddit benefits the thing you're against, because that's how social media is engineered. Because now you've planted in the seed against somebody who's reading that. And that's just how, like, we have been hacked.
You know,
and like, I'm a part of that. I'm, you know, like we have, like, I'm a part of that. I understand this stuff because I work in these APIs and I do these things, and the thing and the data that they have on you. Like I will sit down across from somebody who will be convinced that their phone is listening to them. And I go, it's worse than that. They know more about you. It costs us more to analyze your voice than it does to actually understand you based off of just tracking your cookies. Like, it's unreal. And that's where it's like, I don't know the solution. Like I constantly, you know, I don't want to monologue too much, but it's like, I constantly debate like how my impact on the gaming culture within like a YouTuber's mindset is positive and versus negative. And that's where it's like, I usually try to address the concept from a parent perspective, like talking to other parents. Hey, let's try to fix this before it becomes a problem. Let's understand what's actually happening to us mentally.
I just try to do it from an information perspective, where it's like, here's the information, and if you want it, you know.
That's why I like your reviews.
If you want it, you want it. And if you're new to this, you may like this. If you're, you know, an old grognard to this, maybe you'll think about it a different way. But there are, I mean, I certainly, even though it sounds like we're railing against, I certainly don't want to stop people from playing Destiny, because I think Destiny is one of the most enjoyable first-person games there is.
I can tell you I hate it and love it at the same time.
Right, but here's why I am okay with some of this. Most game developers played games prior. If you didn't, it'd be a little weird. So somebody right now is playing Destiny. Your next Peter Nope. Almost said his name. Sorry. I don't mean Peter. Your next Cliff Bazinski, even though he's left gaming. Your next whatever could be playing Destiny and taking notes and saying, oh, this works. Oh, this works. And that's the next classic we are going to get. And so I want people to see that amazing gunplay in Destiny. It's just the other shit that's wrapped around it is so crazy, and so and we see it in some free-to-plays, we see it in some monetization. It's just so crazy. But I mean, Matty had that story where he had just done a video about 2K's kind of price microtransactions, went out, played golf with somebody, and some little kid was calling on the phone to his dad to ask for money to buy microtransactions in a game.
That's
He's
right.
like, do you even know who you're playing golf with? I just did a video about this. So, I mean, I think you guys are right. Like, younger kids my nephew would not bat an eye because he's accustomed to mobile games.
Yeah,
and
right.
To him, it's just like, and I get it. I don't hold them accountable either. I mean, that would be weird to hold them accountable. But it's more like you could get something better, maybe. You know, or you could wait a little bit to where maybe they package these things in together.
I think it's similar to how accustomed we became to like the digital economy as opposed to like our parents who were still used to like paying cash and stuff. Like,
oh yeah, that's how annoying is that when you go into a line and somebody pulls out cash and start counting coins.
Yeah,
you're not swiping.
Do you, Reg?
2022.
Yes.
With COVID, I went in and they refused my cash.
Oh yeah,
my wife said, I need you to turn this into like a change. I was like, hey, I need to pay cash, and they're like, no. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this money. It's worthless right now.
That was a play on getting rid of cash. But see, there's more poor people than there's rich people.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
so understand that we are the belly and the legs of the whole industry. We keep stuff moving. Right. So can't get rid of cash. Not right now. It's not going to happen.
I'm so unaccustomed to it, but I do like if somebody says you have this much in your bank account, I'd be like, but if they showed it to me, I'd be like, yeah. So I still haven't gone digital microtransaction on my real cash. Like, I do admittedly at my home occasionally, so don't rob me, but occasionally I've had cash here, not a ton, but you know, where I can see it and I'm like, man, that's fucking awesome. You know, or like it is fun, and the idea of going digital. But it is true though that there's a psychology about digital where it's easier to spend, and it is.
Oh yeah,
because I've clicked that button.
100%.
Reg and I've joked about this. When I like take an Ambien 3 a.m., I'm buying shit on Amazon. My wife won't even open the boxes. She'll just be like, "Are you sure you wanted any of this?" And I'll be like, "Probably not." She'll return everything.
McDonald's ran a study and before they actually allowed credit cards, like because that was only in the last like 20 years. And they found that people with credit cards spend 38% more at their stores.
It's so true.
Than they do with cash.
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh wow. Like, and
you know why? Because physically you're not seeing it
you're
go
not
away.
losing anything.
Yeah. There's no pain
It's just numbers.
It's
Yeah.
just
Right.
and you're always like, I can figure it out. How many times I've clicked like even on cookies when I go to a website and it's like these cookies, accept them, not accept them, and I'm like, I just need to get there. And I'll click accept and I'll be like, now they know I just looked up a bunch of shit on Pornhub. And you're like, yeah, screw you. We got to wrap this up, though, guys. I didn't realize we had gone this long. I don't want to hold
that's crazy.
anybody.
I'm used to it.
Ginger or Brian or what was the other one? Del
Monte. Like that's what my coach called me back in college because my last name's Montfort, so it's like Monty, and then I was like Del Monte. So that's ended up being my online like starter name, but that's before I got into content creation.
And it
I was like, all right,
stuck with you. And of course, King from the Ironlords. Thank you guys for both coming. This has been an absolute blast. And we had a bunch of people in the chat saying that it was nuts how civilized we are with 7 people. I always tell that. I'm always like, man, we'll control it. We'll get it taken care of. I think we did a very good job. I want to say how much I appreciate you two in the industry and appreciate you guys doing your awesome podcasts, all your coverage and stuff. It's phenomenally. It is probably the best part of all of YouTube. Getting games is great. Sort of. Sometimes you're like, oh God, this game's gonna suck. But meeting cool people in the industry is the best part. And like everybody here, I would have never known in real life. And you got people in Canada, people in Sweden. Wait, where are you, Silver? Because if I say the wrong one,
definitely not Sweden.
It is always the wrong one.
It's always the wrong one. Wherever Silver is, but we've got people all over the world and everybody listening and chatting in the stream. I definitely appreciate it as well. King, you got any last words?
No, man. This was amazing. Truly anticipated it. We talked about it in the background, and we got here. Like I said, I was getting my Destiny clothes ready for today. So I'm
make
gonna
sure
be
he's
upstairs
dressed
playing
up.
Eldering.
All right. And Brian, are you working on anything? You got any videos coming out?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of working on various different controller guides for Final Fantasy 14. Different jobs.
Cool.
It's one of the things that I guess put me on the map, I guess, in that regards, because I play MMOs on controllers, and if they don't support a controller, then I'm just really not interested. But Final Fantasy 14 does a killer job. So I'm working through those. And honestly, I guess based off this conversation, I guess I'm going to be playing and jumping into Elden Ring.
Yes, sold one copy.
I also want to see.
I
want to see a video of how you play Ninja on controller, but
that is coming. One of the things. Yeah, go please.
Do you make it for like accessibility options for the controller from that point of view as well, or?
I always try, and then it's usually if feedback comes in saying like, because like people will reach out like they have like varying disabilities, and some hey, can you do a one-handed controller guide? Things of that nature. Like, so really cool. I usually try to address that, and that's actually how they all came out in the beginning. People were like, oh, you do this, and then can you teach me how? And I'm like, okay, and so. I always try to respond to the requests as best as I can. I think I look at it more as an act of service. Because I wouldn't play Ninja if it wasn't for the community asking. Like hands down, I love Magic and casters.
How to double weave and control. Yeah, same. I'm a BLM dude.
Yeah, Black Mage dude, freaking forever. And then but no, so I'm working on that. I'm also just like grinding out like crazy in New World. I know it's not a popular game right now, but it's like I love absolutely freaking adore it. Like it's just I don't know. I guess I like games that are built off of potential and the hope that maybe that potential eventually gets realized. So that's true for 14. Like people are like, why do you like this game? I'm like, you have never met my content, because it's like I played 14 1.0 beta, and I was like,
prior to all the changes.
Like I was there back in the day. So that's ultimately what I'm working on. I always try to put out guides that just help improve people's games, but I think I always just try to ask the community to give me a little patience, because like right now I'm trying to teach the kids to ride a bike, and that takes priority over a video.
You don't just tie it to the back of the bumper and drive.
No. I'm
my brother did. I learned how to bike
take
really
to the
fast.
top of a hill. Yeah. Let go. Good luck.
COVID hit us pretty hard because like my mother-in-law's got MS, my mom's had 2 heart attacks, so like we got locked down pretty hardcore, and so we're trying to make up, because Maddie, I feel like kind of lost like in a way of 2 years of like playing with dad in the backyard as opposed to like running around the thing. So I got her a balance bike, and it's been amazing. So any parents out there who are struggling with kids on bikes, like balance bikes, I wish I knew about them sooner. And hopefully we'll be doing pedals pretty soon. But yeah, like I'm just doing my thing.
All right. And Johnny, what are you streaming tomorrow?
I'm streaming Elden Ring. I think I'm getting close to the end and doing some underground stuff there as well.
And what time is that, Johnny?
That's 2 p.m. GMT, which is 9 a.m. EST, Eastern,
which
and
is
then
6 for me.
Which is 6 a.m. PST.
6
The world is too wide, is what we're saying. The world is obese.
Oh yeah.
9 a.m. I'll be
And
dead.
for me, I am working on some reviews you guys will see on Monday, as well as some stuff. Hopefully, I'll cover that tentacle game as well. I got to figure out how to get the recording working on the Quest and get it recording on the good computer. But other than that, I want to thank everybody here. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the support on the channel. If you get a chance, maybe check out the Walking the Walk for Elden Ring, because that is doing absolutely shit views. And if you're listening to this, I already said it at the starting, put some time codes in when this goes live as a video on YouTube, because first person, somebody will be like, I can't believe they're expecting me to look through 3 hours of free content. Which I am. But we have some awesome YouTube fans who put some timestamps in there. So anyway, that's it for us. Thank you very much. Expect us next week, unless something absolutely terrible happens, which now sounds like fate, and I should probably delete it from this. Now that I think about it. Peace out, everybody.
Fine. What's the worst?
Should have said that.
What's the worst that could happen? Well, trust
up.
me. It feels like we're finding out every goddamn day.
Every day.
Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Peace out, everybody. Oh, whoops. Oh, man. I didn't mean to go. Sorry, I deleted all of them. I sorry about that, people listening.